Dalvin Cook could be traded. And we don't know where yet, but there's a lot of talk going around. And I'm going to put a poll right now. Poll's been dropped. I want to see your votes live right now. Vote, is Dalvin Cook going to be traded? And then I want you to drop your predictions as to where he's going to land. Because honestly, as much as we feel like this guy is cooked, Cook is cooked in the right spot. Who knows what he becomes for one more season. In Buffalo, who knows how good he could be touchdown production wise, even if he ran for a lot less yardage but stayed healthy on the ground, punching in touchdowns. Vote live right now in this chat. I dropped the link in the live chat. We'll be doing polls all show long. And any $10 haulers are going to get their own poll. You want to talk about some sort of trade advice, kick around an idea, drop a 10 spot. We'll throw it into a poll, put it into a queue, and we'll kick a poll around. The Fantasy Football Show. Breaking news, rumor edition, Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers, Dalvin Cook. It all begins right now.
The FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
What is going on, everybody? My name is Smitty. You're watching the Fantasy Football Show. Like we do it. We do this every Monday through Friday. If you don't know, if you're new and you're like, is this guy here randomly? How does this work? Well, first and foremost, I'm here Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern every single Monday through Friday. But then we're here whenever news breaks. Whenever news breaks, any live news whatsoever, we come run into the studio, right? And we go live and we drop it and break everything down. So we are your one-stop shop here at the Fantasy Football Show. And pitch your tent. You found your new home. So Dalvin Cook, so far 10 votes to 4. You can vote in the live chat. I'll drop the poll one more time, then I'll pin the link and you guys can vote on it. We'll kick around a couple other polls. We'll be talking about where Aaron Rodgers is going to go, or if Aaron Rodgers is getting traded before the NFL draft. Some of you think that trade's going to fall through. Some of you don't. This is a vote on Dalvin Cook. Boom. Okay, that vote has been pinned. So far, we got 10 to 4 vote. Dalvin Cook gets traded, 10 votes. Where do you think he goes? D-Class says, I'm home. Dalvin to the Dolphins says, Dag. Send him to Philly, says Matt. I'd like him in Philly. I'd like him in Buffalo. I'd like him in Cincy. Better than Mixon. Mixon's probably more cooked than Dalvin. Even though Dalvin's got the bad shoulder. You know, the shoulder is bad. He plays with it. He puts on a flak jacket. He puts on this vest that keeps that shoulder in the socket. He did have surgery, but it's only going to help so much. It'll help him start off, I guess, fresh. But Dalvin in Buffalo, I don't think he's all that cooked if he's in Buffalo. I think playing with his brother it's going to be obvious in hindsight. Oh, these two back, the two back together, the bros. Dalvin coming in to take his brother's job. Dalvin to the Eagles makes sense. Dalvin Cook to the Chicago Bears for a 3rd-round pick makes sense. I mean, it's not like Dalvin Cook, the injured Dalvin Cook is going to have to cost you a 2nd-round pick. If you're the Chicago Bears and you acquire Dalvin Cook for a 3rd or a couple 4th-rounders, let's just call it a 3rd-rounder. If you acquire Dalvin Cook with a 3rd-rounder and you're the Chicago Bears, goodness gracious. Where's my... What's going on here? Let's try this one more time. If you're instant replay, if you're the Chicago Bears and you acquire Dalvin Cook amongst all the other amazing things you're doing, and yeah, he's cooked in Minnesota. That's the feel we get. They're very pass oriented now, and Chicago could use him. If he goes to Chicago, and we got a 16-7 vote in the chat. The link is pinned. If he goes to Chicago,
Mashed potatoes.
Yeah, buddy.
we're doing it live. Philly's pretty good too. Foreman over Cook? No, Brian. I like Foreman, but I don't think he's going to be the answer there. Foreman, how old is Foreman? Is he like 87 years old? Let's pull up Foreman. And it doesn't seem like, the problem is he just breaks down at the end of the year. He signed a $3 million deal. They're going to potentially give him a shot, but Foreman's never had a 1,000-yard season, and he's given like workhorse volume, and he just kind of wears down. Last year in Carolina, he had 914 yards on 17 games. They threw to him 5 receptions for 26 yards. He's just nothing special. He's good. He's been productive. He's okay. He's definitely a good backup, but I don't think you want Foreman being your starter all year long. He's turning 20. Oh, he's only 26. Wow, Deontay Foreman's only 26 years old. Doesn't Deontay feel like he's like 87 years old? He's 26 years old. I would say Deontay's a good starter for 5, 6, 7 games if, let's say, Cook got hurt, and Cook did end up in. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't think Foreman's any sort of answer. Okay, let's go to Deontay Foreman. Doesn't have much tread on his tires. He had an Achilles tear, bro. That's like the worst kind of tread you could have on your tires. Okay, 17 votes yes, 8 votes no. Anybody else want to speak? All right, let's go to another poll. And Dalvin would be good for one season. Cook, Alexander, Madison become relevant starters, and Cook gets traded. Madison's going to be. We got to wonder what Minnesota's going to do in the draft, though, But Madison's going to be instant. Let's go over to this one. Derrick Henry or Breece Hall, 2023 PPR. You know what my answer is. Let's drop this vote in the poll. Here we go. Let's drop this poll in the chat. This is Breece Hall. Hall versus Henry. Let's see what you all think on this one. You guys see my vote. Breece Hall. But some of you still love Derrick Henry. And I don't blame you. You're not a bad person. 6 votes for Breece Hall. I'm curious when the first 7 votes for Breece Hall. 8 votes for Breece Hall. We're a very pro Breece Hall group, though. There's one. There it is. There it is. Bears don't need Dalvin, says Goose. Why? Cook should go to the Bucks or Cardinals. He could go to the Cardinals. Cardinals are definitely an option. Smitty, it is Dynasty or redraft. For what? This question? It says 2023 PPR. What's up, Lunchbox? Panthers really considering Anthony Richardson. Absolutely, they're going to think about it, but it seems like it's Bryce Young. Follow the money in Vegas. It's looking like Bryce Young. As it should be. As it should be. We got 3 Derrick Henry votes. It's okay. 4. It's all right. 17 Hall. 4 Derrick Henry. We need those Derrick Henry people in our lives, because if Breece Hall was 25 votes to 0, you'd see a first round or high second round 2023 ADP. It's because of these 4 or 5 votes here that you can get Breece Hall at 3.1. So if anything, we owe the Derrick Henry voters, the Derrick Henry supporters here, and the people that just generally doubt Breece Hall coming back from an ACL tear, we owe these people a round of applause because they help us 1,000%.
Let's go, mashed potatoes!
I know this doesn't say Dynasty. It says Derrick Henry, Breece Hall, 2023 PPR. What's up, William? What's up, William? Henry is getting red zone goal line touches anywhere he plays. People will still be cautious on Hall due to the knee. That's what we're hoping for, Isaac. That's what we're hoping for. Even media says Hall over Henry. No real football show fan should vote for Henry. Let's see. Macho's got a question. Macho dropping a $10 hauler. Let's see here. Let's put Macho's question on screen, and then we're going to put it on in a poll. Giants should sign and trade Barkley to Chicago and move up. Oh, I guess it's not a poll question. Move up in the draft and get Bijan. Bro, that's all we want. That's my number one landing spot. We go on over to the NFL draft board, and it's Bijan to the Bears. It's Bijan to the Falcons. It's Bijan to the Eagles. Those are my top landing spots, 100%. 100%, bro. The Bears would be absolute fire. Bears feel like they're leaning offensive line, but if it were me, I'd be drafting Garrett with the 199 hauler. We had the Macho dropping the 10 spot. Appreciate you guys. Bears, if they go JSN or Bijan and address the offensive line in round 2, that's my choice. Okay. But sounds like they could go Charbonnet, though, in round 2, an offensive line at 9, and I'd be fine with that. They could go Charbonnet in round 2, JSN at 9, and address the offensive line hardcore the rest of the draft. I'd be fine with that, too. There are 100,000 ways to win. 100,000 ways to win, my guy. Okay, here's Garrett's question. Garrett says Hall is not top 5 running back first year off ACL. Henry easy. I knew, Garrett, we knew you were going to be anti the show. No matter what the question is, you're just anti. You're the anti of the show, but I feel like you do it very respectfully. And I feel like, or at least you can. I don't know if in the chat you don't, but you do it very respectfully, I believe, toward me. So I never have a problem with your anti. You can always be anti-Garrett. But you're anti-Garrett, bro. You're anti-Garrett, and that's just the way you come. We accept you the way you are. But no matter what I ask, you're going to be anti. You're going to be anti. Hall top 5 off ACL. Hall top 5 off an ACL. Smitty? Do you know, Smitty? He had an ACL tear? Do you know this? I commend you, Garrett. Without you, we can't get Breece Hall at 3.1. We owe Garrett a round of applause on the daily. Here's the piece of news that relates to the Dalvin Cook. Let's go back to the Dalvin Cook poll and see if anything's changed. Dalvin Cook be traded 19 votes to 10. Look at you guys coming through at the end. 10 votes. Woo doggy. Let me put all the polls. I got 3 polls going on right now. Aaron Rodgers poll. Dalvin Cook poll. Let me pin these. I don't know. Yeah, you should be able to vote on all those. There's the Aaron Rodgers poll right now. Go vote on that right now. It's the other one I just added. I pinned it. It's the you can't really read it. Hold on. Let me pin it. Let me pin it separately. Here's Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers poll. Vote on that now. Surprise me because I can't see it right now. So I want to know what you guys think. Go vote on the Aaron Rodgers poll while I read this. I just pinned it. Dalvin Cook being on the roster this season, Vikings GM said conversations are always ongoing with him. I have a real strong sense that he's getting moved. But the thing is, like, he's not getting moved for Christian McCaffrey value. McCaffrey got moved for a second, a third, and a fourth, which honestly was ridiculous. And teams should be ashamed of themselves. Like, that's a second rounder is what a guy like Cook or Henry should get moved for in my valuation. But guess what? We don't trade based on my valuation. We don't trade based on my valuation. We trade based on the NFL's very overvalued, vaulted up second rounders are gold, even though they're hit and miss players. You can get a Christian McCaffrey for a second, a third, and a fourth round pick. You can get right now. That's not what Christian McCaffrey should cost. I don't care what he costed. I'm telling you, He required a first rounder. Even if he gave you 2 years minimum, which he gave just one, and now he's going to work on a second. If he gave you 2 years and retired, he was worth a first rounder because he was the number one running back in football. He single-handedly turned the entire momentum around and put the Niners in a driver's seat single-handedly. He single-handedly made Brock Purdy look a lot better than Brock Purdy probably truly is. And the same thing will probably happen with Trey Lance. That Trey Lance has never been seen with Christian McCaffrey on the field, but Brock Purdy has. Unfair to judge Purdy so much more and give him such an edge over Trey when Trey's never played with Christian McCaffrey, who makes everything easy. So CMC was worth a first rounder, but you got him for a second, and third, and fourth. What do you think a beat up, one shoulder Dalvin Cook's gonna cost? Third rounder? Cactus dropping the $5 hauler. Appreciate you, pal. I mean, really, guys, Dalvin Cook is free. He's practically free. CMC has been working. Saw photos of him. Look, CMC's still a worry. He's still a worry. I don't think anybody's fully shaken off the injury concern, especially playing for the Niners. You know, like he takes care of his body like almost no other running back in the National Football League, though. So, and he kind of does it on his own. He doesn't put it up to the coaching staff or the team. Like some other players will get hurt because, you know, they don't have quite the training staff or they lean upon the training staff. Whereas CMC, like he walks on the field himself. He has his own little like rituals for himself. He has his own off the field workouts. He has his own recovery. Like he takes it all into his own hands. So there is some thinking that like Christian McCaffrey could have another full season in the tank. But there's still a little bit of concern about the Niners system and how that scheme puts players in a little bit more vulnerable positioning. And you can't argue that. If you argue that, you don't really know what you're saying, because there's a lot of different polling and schemes that put the matchups in such a way that a guy like Jimmy G's getting leveled, or a guy like Trey Lance is getting hit in a certain way, or Purdy's getting leveled because a tight end's blocking a linebacker on some, you know, creative scheme drawn up tight end pull action play where you sit here and have a vulnerable quarterback standing there when most systems wouldn't have, you know, that kind of setup. So San Francisco is definitely prone to leaving, I would say, like a quarterback in the lurch in terms of, like, you know, some kind of creative play. Okay, so I got the Bruce on the phone. Bruce, we got 19 votes for Dalvin Cook being traded, 10 votes no.
Good. I voted for him to be traded.
Well, not just wanted to be traded. Will he be traded?
Absolutely. I hope so.
I think he's got a shot somewhere else. He doesn't really have the same upside in Minnesota, but he has a shot somewhere else.
I'm on this Viking site just for the Vikings. I even put a trade up that people laughed at, Smitty.
What'd you put up?
I said the Vikings give them Cook, their first-round pick.
To who?
And to Chicago.
Oh, okay.
And their third to move up to the Bear spot and take their seventh.
Say it again. I don't know if I like this. You don't trade that pick though. Dalvin's, look. The thing is, Dalvin's worth nothing almost. Like Dalvin.
That's why I said. That's why I was saying. Give them their pick. Get Chicago's first, but give them your third, and take their seventh.
No, Bruce. This
and
not.
then get Bijan at 9.
This 9 overall has nothing to do with Dalvin Cook. Like,
yeah, you wouldn't.
Look, I'm not trying to laugh at it like other people did, but I'm just saying, like, Dalvin Cook moves the needle and meter not even one draft slot. Like he is broken. He is, but like he is valuable in a case by case.
These guys are diehard Cook fans.
Yeah,
They don't want him to leave.
Right, but he's not moving this draft slot, even one draft slot. He's not that powerful. Like, he is you give up a third rounder, So like and I'm not saying that there's any buzz on Cook going to the Bears, but if you're not going to draft a running back, a high value running back, and if you're not going to trade for one, there's nothing wrong with coming back at the end of this thing and saying, you know what, let's give up a third rounder, or even if it's a future third rounder, and you might get that from the Vikings. They might say, look, we're not sure that Cook is going to be anything at all, and that's the whole point, is you're going to get him practically free. It would be crazy not to take Cook for a future third round pick or something, or a couple fourth rounders or whatever he'd cost, because he's not costing even a second rounder, Brucey. And so he's certainly not going to, if you went to the Bears and said, hey, we'll give you Cook in a couple seconds and all this, and we want your 9 pick from the what pick is the Vikings at? The Vikings are at 23. They would laugh in your face and say, good Lord, bro. Good Lord. We barely want Dalvin Cook. You think we're going to move the 9 pick? Are you out of your mind, Brucey? Is what they would tell you. I appreciate it, but it's not going to happen. Cook costs far less than that. Cook costs a ham sandwich, and that's my point. Really, my point is that why would you not want Dalvin Cook on your roster if he costs literally a ham sandwich? So 19 votes to 10. Interesting. Let's go on over to the Aaron Rodgers vote. That's the Derrick Henry, Breece Hall, 22 votes to 6. We love those 6 votes, bro. Those 6 votes are why Breece Hall's going at 3.1. And this isn't like that crazy to imagine that Derrick Henry for even 10 games plays out of his mind and then you trade him. Like anybody that votes Derrick Henry here, I don't have a problem with it, but I would recommend somebody trading Derrick Henry by double-digit weeks and getting out. Just get out. Don't question it. Don't say, oh, well, he's looking good walking into week 10. You have to trade him. You have to take the calculated risk that Derrick Henry will not last if he's producing at an elite level, and you get lucky and you start getting Derrick Henry from 2020, the olden days. Derrick Henry's still there. This isn't a new Derrick Henry. This is the workhorse, absolute monster Derrick Henry, and you're lucky enough to get it in the beginning of the year, which is certainly in the cards. I'm not here to say I wouldn't take Derrick Henry in round 3, especially if I can trade him by double-digit weeks, or if I'm in best ball, I can draft Javonte and Derrick Henry to fill one running back 2 spot. So I draft Henry in the 3rd round, I draft Javonte later, and now I have a guy that I think will replace Henry and a guy that can take over until Javonte's ready. And that in best ball, that's amazing. So it's there's places for Derrick Henry, but at the end of the day, and they're going near the same ADP. So at the end of the day, Rock Out with a $2 hauler. Rock Out says check IG DM. Okay, I'll check in a second. Derrick Henry at number 3.4 is a good value. 3.1, 3.2. I like it. It's not laughable, but I'm taking Hall all day long. I think most people on this show would, but that's okay. We need those Derrick Henry votes. Aaron Rodgers, 23 votes. Will he be a Jet? 5 of you think he will not be a New York Jet. It never fails. No matter what poll we put out, we're always going to get, and there's going to be one guy that just wants to vote against it, whatever. But 5 votes. I'm really shocked. I would love for one of those 5 people to call up, phone lines right here, to just discuss the thinking, because I want to hear the story behind this. Like, what you think unfolds. Do you think that the Jets pull out and then make an offer for Lamar? Do you think that Aaron Rodgers gets tired of it all and just retires in the middle of all this? I am curious to know the backstory behind the 5 votes of Aaron Rodgers not becoming a Jet. I just want to hear it. I'm not saying it's not. Look, anything can happen. Brucey, we've seen things happen that I never would have thought would happen. So this isn't crazy at all. It could certainly happen. I'm very curious to hear somebody's backstory on this vote, though. We have a caller from the 609. Please tell me you're one of the 5 votes that said Aaron Rodgers will not be a Jet.
Absolutely, Smith.
Okay, who is this?
He's not going to the Jets. It's Heating.
Heating Podcast? Okay, what's up, Heating?
What's going on? He's not going to the Jets.
Why?
They would have had a deal in place by now if he was going to the Jets.
That's not great reasoning, though. You got to have something better than that. Like, I was expecting some awesome conspiracy theory or whatever. You can't just say they would have had it in place by now. They're fighting about it right now. Like that's why it's not in place now. But like, that's it.
I just think they got better things to worry about than a quarterback. They could draft a quarterback.
The Jets.
There's a million of them in this draft.
The Jets.
Yeah.
How can the Jets go from rags to riches like they're going to with Aaron Rodgers in this draft class when they don't hold a pick high enough to get anybody but maybe Hendon Hooker, who won't be ready for the NFL season? So if the Jets at number 13 try and solve this problem via the middle of the first round, they're not going to produce anything this year. It's going to be a nothing burger season. Like
but they got middle-aged guys, decent, older, like late 20s guys that they brought in. They didn't bring anybody over 30, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but like you said, they have better things to worry about than getting Aaron Rodgers. Come on.
Yeah, he's washed, Smitty. We saw him last season.
Bro, he's not washed. He just needs
He's washed.
No. He's still got the arm. This is one of those things where like he walks into this environment, and even if he's dropped off a little bit, bro, the surrounding supporting cast, the top 1 to 2 defense, it's all gonna mask any sort of decline he's got going on at any level of his game, any facet of his game that's gonna struggle. You're not gonna see it. This is a top 6 team in the National Football League with Aaron Rodgers. I appreciate your take, and you can have a differing opinion. It's all right.
But you know, I'm a huge Giants fan. He's screaming Eli Manning in 2016. It's the same thing.
It's always possible. I don't think what you're saying is crazy. And like I always say to people, like 2020 proved to me that anything can happen. So many things unfolded in 2020 that I don't think any of us could have ever imagined. Like if someone called me up in 2019 and said, Smitty, remember my interview with Grant where Grant told me everyone's going to wear a mask? And I said in my fantasy football intern sitcom, I told Grant, you're crazy. He's like, people are going to walk around with the mask. If someone told me in 2019 we'd all be wearing masks for 3 years, 3 years straight, I would have said, you're absolutely crazy. Someone would have told me that the NCAA tournament was going to get canceled. These money-hungry people. It's all about money. Vegas was going to make the decision to cancel the tournament. I would have said, you're absolutely crazy. Those are some of the biggest, and I know those are sports examples, those are some of the biggest things that prove to me that anything can happen, because I would have bet my life that the NCAA tournament wasn't going to get canceled, especially as quick as they canceled it. Like, bro, anything's possible. I've learned that in my life. But I feel like Aaron Rodgers, I feel like the New York Jets saying we've got better things to worry about. That's a crazy angle to it. If you were to say that, like, I like this. This response here is probably, I don't know, where is this? This response right here. Where'd it go? It was...
Or they get outbid.
What?
Or they get outbid by, like, the Ravens, who are looking to get something instead to replace Lamar.
But Lamar...
Or the Pats looking to move
Okay,
on.
so let me address both of those. If Aaron Rodgers doesn't go to the Jets, then Lamar's going to the Jets. That's their only option. And if Lamar's gone by then, if he goes back, and I don't think he will be, I think he'd be ridiculous not to explore the offer sheet process that's awaiting him after the NFL draft. Everybody thinks that no one's interested. It's not true. No one's interested right now with the 2023 first rounders being involved, because every team that wants Lamar has a high first round pick. They want to spend these first rounders in 2023. And then once the draft's over, they're required to give up the 2024 and 2025 first rounders. And so teams like the Colts that may not get their guy, or they may get their guy, they're waiting to see. Teams like the Falcons, teams like the Tennessee Titans, all these teams, the New England Patriots, the Washington Commanders, they're all kind of on a course of their own, right? But that opportunity to test drive Lamar after the NFL draft will come into play. There will be at least one, probably two, maybe even three teams that start talking to Lamar immediately after the NFL draft. Miami can be one of those because they'll have a first-round pick in both of the next immediate drafts after the NFL draft's over in 2023. The Niners can't talk to him now, but after the 2023 NFL draft, the Niners now can partake because they'll have two immediate first-rounders after the 2023 NFL draft's over. And so, like, let's say Brock Purdy ends up having bad news by then. Let's say Trey Lance is struggling or has some sort of issue with his foot. Like, we don't know what's going to happen. The Niners want to look into trading Trey Lance, unfortunately. They do. You wouldn't have answered the way you answered the question when John Lynch was asked, hey, is Trey Lance available? We listen to any offers or take any phone calls, but we love having Trey in town, whatever. And then would you trade Brandon Ayuk? No, bro. We're not trading Brandon Ayuk. We know the Niners are susceptible to trading Trey. So if Brock Purdy gets awful news, Lamar Jackson might be a conversation that at least is had. So Lamar, in my opinion, Lamar should not sign his deal, his $32 million franchise tag, and eliminate his options of, then now he can be traded, but now he's held to that contract. He's got a lot of flexibility right now, and I also think he shouldn't, re-up with the Ravens and sign a new deal yet without exploring the after the NFL draft process. It's going to be pretty plentiful for him, at least way more than right now. So my whole reason in bringing that up is that I think that the Jets do have a backdoor option. It will be Lamar Jackson, and the Jets have made it abundantly clear that they want a veteran quarterback and they will spare no expense, which is what they're doing with Aaron Rodgers. But if anybody says, hey, Smitty, I think the Aaron Rodgers deal will fall through, and we got this vote up. Let's see what the vote is. The vote's at 24 votes, yes, Rodgers will be a Jet. 5 votes, no, he will not be a Jet. If I had to defend the no people right here, I would say that the Jets, the only thing I can envision is either the Jets, they say to themselves, because the Packers can't keep Aaron Rodgers. They can only call their bluff so long on the compensation. The only thing I could see happening is the Jets saying, we're going after Lamar. If you push this through the NFL draft, you know what we're going to hear, bro? Mark my words. If the Green Bay Packers say we're not going to trade till after the draft, and the Jets go like this, good God, guys, you're dragging your feet on this. Don't be shocked if once the draft's over, the Jets, there's news that they make attempts to talk and negotiate with Lamar. And then the Green Bay Packers are going to go in scramble mode and go, oh shit, what are we going to do? Because now the Ravens are going to say, we're tired of waiting. We're exploring our options. We're not going to sit here and just beg for you to make this trade. We will talk to Lamar Jackson in the meantime. If you're interested, raise your hand. We still very much want Aaron Rodgers, but now the price has changed. You're going to play hardball with us? Now the NFL draft's over. We could go get Lamar if we really want to. Do you know how they can guarantee getting Lamar, bro? The Jets could guarantee to get Lamar. Guarantee it. Offer him a deal he can't refuse. Give him Deshaun Watson guaranteed money. The Jets have said we'll spare no expense. If the Packers push him far enough after the NFL draft, you mark my words, you'll hear buzz. Jets are now going to say, you know what? We're going to talk to Lamar. You guys wait and drag your feet. We're talking to Lamar. But that's where I think your argument, would hold water.
Aaron Rodgers, though, winds up in Baltimore. Because Baltimore will then scramble.
No. That's where you're wrong, though. Aaron Rodgers only wants to play for the Jets, bro. He's going to retire.
But he's under contract. He's got no say.
No, he's going to retire, though. His whole thing was he's either retiring or he's coming back to play for the Jets. A lot of people say what you said. Well, he could get traded here. He could get traded here. No, he can't. He gets traded where he wants to get traded. He demanded the Jets, bro. Out of the Jets, the Packers, and Aaron Rodgers, the person with the most leverage is Aaron Rodgers. Because
okay, so it's like a Gronk situation then.
He's not. He may go to the Niners. He may decide because he's always kind of wanted to play for the Niners. I could see him saying, you know what? Screw all this. The Packers are upsetting me. I got a chip on my shoulder that's the size of this right here. And it grew very big when he walked out of that darkness retreat, checked his flip phone. and checked his 4 LTE bars. And he said, hey, what's going on, Randall Cobb? Randall Cobb said, Packers broke up with you in public. And they said, you're done. You're washed. You're nothing. You're nothing, bro. Lazard called up. Lazard said, hey, A-Rod, the Packers, they told you they're breaking up with you. And they sent you an email and broke up with you. Aaron Rodgers got so upset, he walked straight to a football field. At least in my mind, he walked straight there. And he started throwing missiles, bro. Missiles, testing. And this is true to a degree. I'm stretching it a little bit. I'm making the story sound better because I don't know if he walked straight to a field. He might have took off his garb, maybe took a shower, got a shave, maybe had a bite. But he walked out to a field, and Brandon Marshall was reportedly there watching this guy. He was throwing missiles, Brandon Marshall said, that were unbelievable. A 40-yard no-looker that even Patrick Mahomes can't throw, even though he throws like 15, 20-yard no-lookers. Aaron Rodgers threw a 40-yard no-look missile, and Marshall said he looked like he was the best he's ever been physically. And so that's why I kind of pushed back on you that he's dropped off. Now, Brandon Marshall likes to, be in the news and talk a big game. So there's some people that say you can't trust Brandon Marshall. But Brandon Marshall was saying some pretty big, lofty things. I don't think this is stretching the truth a little bit. I think he really was genuinely impressed with Aaron Rodgers going out there and tossing around the rock. And Aaron Rodgers is smart enough, bro. He's smart enough to have walked out to the field just to make sure that he still had it in his mind. I want to go out there, throw the ball. I want to go out there and see how my physical, the physical part of my game is holding up. He knows mentally he's as sharp as ever. And I will go and defend Aaron Rodgers, Brady. Those guys are as sharp as they'll ever be. Just because they're older doesn't mean that they're falling off mentally. It's the physical part.
Oh, yeah.
So Aaron Rodgers, if, let's say, both of these sides, the Packers and the Jets, keep screwing around, and Aaron Rodgers gets tired of it, he'll probably walk away. Could I see him having such a big chip on his shoulder that was created by the Green Bay Packers breakup with him? Could I see him saying, you know what, then send me to the Niners? And if Aaron Rodgers requested to go to the Niners, unlike when Brady requested it and Shanahan, who crapped the bed on the topic, said that Jimmy Garoppolo was only marginally lesser, so we're going to go ahead and pass on Brady. And you remember Brady's response? Where he said, and we didn't know who he was talking about at first until it broke later, but he said that he inquired about playing for a team, and they said, we're going to go ahead and keep this guy. And he said, that effing guy over me? Like, he was so offended, and everyone's like, what does he mean? What team's he talking about? What quarterback is it? Some people speculated it couldn't be Jimmy, because no one would keep Jimmy over Brady, and it was. Shanahan kept Jimmy over Brady. That's the dumbest coaching decision I've ever heard in my life. That's why he lives on Uranus.
And off he goes to the planet.
We got him in the corner on there because you'll never live that dumb move down. So, here's the thing, though. I truly believe that John Lynch, who I really respect, and I think John Lynch is making a lot of big calls now, whereas I think back then when Shanahan hired John Lynch, he hired his own boss, bro. Can you imagine hiring your own boss? It's going to be uncomfortable for a few years. But I believe now John Lynch is in his role. He's got the reins. And if Aaron Rodgers called John and said, make a trade for me, let's win a Super Bowl, John, I don't care what's happening. John Lynch is going to listen, and John Lynch is going to be very tempted to make that move. Because Brock Purdy, they're already doubting Trey Lance openly. They've already said that he's going to split first-team reps with Sam Darnold. Don't give me they're still going to go down the Trey Lance road, even though I want them to, and I love Trey Lance. They've already proven that they can go on a detour in a snap of a finger. And if Brock Purdy is going to be pushing it to get ready, why not have Aaron Rodgers come over for 1 year, win a Super Bowl, let Brock Purdy heal for an entire year properly? This is not a downgrade for his career. This is not a removing him from the starting lineup. This is crazy, that you wouldn't even consider this if it ends up happening. And Jordan says Aaron Rodgers said he wouldn't already because he's not in that spot right now, Jordan. We're playing a game of the Jets move on and take Lamar Jackson. Right now, he wants to be a Jet, Jordan. We're talking about a whole different scenario. He also 90% wanted to retire, Jordan, when he walked into the darkness retreat and then came out wanting to fire off and play football. So we don't know what Aaron Rodgers will do. He's not going to answer he wants to be a 49er now when he's going to be a Jet and wants to be a Jet and create all kinds of chaos. But if we're talking about, Jordan, that if you remove the Jet situation as an option because the Jets say, screw this after the draft, we're going to go after Lamar, and this is your fault, Green Bay. And if Aaron Rodgers says, you know what, I'm not going back to Green Bay, I'm retiring, unless he wants to make the Packers' lives miserable, he stays and gets a whole boatload of money, you know, and the Packers don't know what to do. That would be beautiful. That would be beautiful because you know what? The Packers are playing hardball, and they can't afford to play hardball right now. They think they're playing hardball, and they're not.
Hey, Smitty.
Yeah.
With our COVID MVP, which I still think he has it, Aaron Rodgers, COVID MVP, don't you think his play fell off just because he didn't have, like, he wasn't in connect with his weapons last year until later?
With who?
Like Watson.
Oh, A-Rod.
Yeah, like Watson.
I mean,
really
there's a lot.
appear.
There's a lot of things. I mean, yeah, he had to school Watson. He had to bring him along. There's a lot of reasons. Green Bay was kind of in shambles in some ways. I think New York is 10 times the opportunity. You got the top 1 or 2 defense. You've got amazing weapons, better weapons than he's ever had. This is a bad take, says Jordan. Jordan, you clearly don't know what's going on right now because I'm giving hypotheticals. Jordan, just rewatch the show to understand what the context is here. If Aaron Rodgers is not going to the Jets, you have to map out a different potential avenue. He may have said no. He may not want to go there currently under the current circumstances. We're kicking around if the Jets have had enough and they go get Lamar. And all of a sudden, Aaron Rodgers has nowhere to go, and he does want to play football. Jordan, you don't know. You don't know where he's going to go. No one knows. I don't know. This is speculative, and this is kicking around an idea he has wanted to play for the Niners before. We know that. Doesn't matter if they passed over him. Doesn't matter the stories you're talking about. If there's no place for him to go, Jordan, where's he going, Jordan? You tell me, call in. If it's such a bad take, you call in and tell us what's going to happen, Jordan. You got the Gray's Book Sports Almanac from Back to the Future. You call me up and tell me what scenario you can paint up if the Jets are off the table. I'm all ears, Jordan. Come tell me how bad my take is. Come tell me how bad my take is, Jordan.
And even if, my opinion is, even if Lamar does leave, I think the Ravens are just going to stay with Huntley. I think Huntley proved he's a really good starter.
Yeah, I mean, he needs a fresh redo of an opportunity because it definitely was something where it wasn't like he had the same circumstances in years prior where Huntley's looked good. You know, Huntley's looked good before, but keep in mind, Lamar looked horrible last year. Huntley looked horrible last year. Lamar's looked good in the past, and in the past, Huntley's looked good in the past. So, like, what's the correlating factor? The fact that the Ravens were awful last year, and both quarterbacks looked awful. Both of them looked awful. But back on point to the wrap up the Aaron Rodgers thing. Aaron Rodgers, it's going to come down to if let's say the Jets are off the table. He's got his first decision. And Jordan, you're again, call in, Jordan. Tell me where I'm wrong, Jordan. Tell me where I'm wrong. Just because you read something somewhere, and just because Aaron Rodgers answered a question about not wanting to play for the Niners when he's in Jet mode right now. If you think that that's going to prevent him from making a different decision with a different set of circumstances, by all means, call up and tell me how wrong I am. I don't care what he said before, Jordan. I really don't. Aaron Rodgers
is all about the money.
Yeah, he has a decision to make. Okay, if the Jets are removed as an option, he's either going to retire or he's got to decide where do I want to play? Where do I want to play?
Because he winds up in Washington with this new ownership group, and they pay him.
And that's definitely an option. Look, and I haven't even got to that yet because that's the next piece of news. We take so long to get past one piece of news. But if this new ownership is in place in time and Lamar is still around, there is a strong possibility that this new ownership says, and correct me if you guys think I'm wrong, but I believe this new ownership would probably be way more prone to liking Lamar. The eclectic group that they have, that they're going to put their mind together to fix the franchise real quickly, come in and spark some excitement. Look, everyone's so pumped up about this sale that the curse will be broken. What better way to break the curse than to say, bring in Lamar, you bunch of idiots before us. Like, we're going to come in and do what you haven't been able to do in how many years? I mean, and I like Sam Howell. I'm not saying that can't work out if they go down that road, but I could see this crew coming in, and I know it's not official yet, but if this new crew of ownership comes in with Magic on board, everybody, they come in and they say, we're going to do what you couldn't do in decades, and we're going to bring in a QB immediately. And all this, Lamar's not a good fit, There's a new sheriff, there's new sheriffs in town, and we're going to go get Lamar no matter what anybody below us thinks. Lamar Jackson's coming to Washington to ball out. And then we start loving Lamar again. Why? Because he's attached to his situation. And if Lamar's in Washington with new ownership that makes it happen, forces it to happen, guess what? He's got Dotson, he's got McLaurin, he's got a pretty darn good running game. And if they use that number, 15 overall? What do they have? Washington's got 16 overall. If they had the balls to draft Bijan Robinson there if he fell, and you get Lamar Jackson, I'm just saying what I would do to turn Washington around immediately. Washington has Lamar, and let's say they don't even go Bijan. Let's say they got the balls to take another wide receiver, or let's say they take an offensive line piece to protect Lamar. Whatever the case may be, this team is loaded with talent, and they really are a quarterback away. As much as people rip on them, it's like the Jets. The Jets are a joke until they get their quarterback because they've got all the other pieces. The Niners are going to continue to lose Super Bowl opportunities unless they have a quarterback. You can have a roster stacked from top to bottom like the Niners and continue to drop the ball in the 11th hour because you don't have a quarterback. Doesn't matter how good your team is top to bottom. The Jets are either a top 6 team or they're a cellar dweller based on whether they get Lamar or Aaron Rodgers. If they don't get either of those quarterbacks, guess what? There's no one left. The Jets tank. They have a horrible season. They look great on defense, but they get worn down and injured. They look good in some capacity running the ball. Obviously, Garrett Wilson could still have a good season. We could still be very excited about Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson, but to a little lesser degree, we will be a little bit more worried about the production, in the goal line situations and moving the football down the field. Scoring opportunities will minimize drastically if they don't have Aaron Rodgers or Lamar Jackson. The difference between a Washington football team, Commanders, Presidents, whatever you want to call them, they've had 1,000 different names. The difference between the Washington Commanders now and if they have Lamar is like night and day. Night and day. These are contenders if they've got Lamar. And
I think a point I would make on that, though, is that Washington has a massive cultural problem in their organization. So it's similar to Detroit. I don't think bringing Lamar in would fix that right away. The Jets really are. Like, if you watch the atmosphere around that team, you remember it from last year. Zach Wilson really was the only problem with that team not actually being competitive at the tail end stretch of games.
What makes you think Lamar, besides Lamar making dumb decisions regarding an agent, his future, what makes you think Lamar is bad for the culture? Because he's not, to my knowledge and everything I know.
Lamar is. I'm saying the culture in Washington itself. No, I think Lamar would be great for Washington, and in long term, Lamar would be a great solution for the organization. But I think if you put Lamar on the Jets, they're a winning team now.
But what makes you think that the new ownership isn't going to try and change that culture with Lamar, and then, you know what I mean? Like that's the whole point.
I don't think you can change it in 1 year, though. I really don't think that Washington situation, like, that Lamar could make them a good team, like a middle of the pack team this year. But I think that Washington has so many deeply, like, cultural entrenched issues in the organization that I think it's going to take multiple years to rebuild that organization to anything that resembles a competitive culture.
But I'm still who's talking right now?
This is Bass Fire.
Oh, that's fire.
I like
no wonder
Lamar more in New York.
No wonder I was disagreeing with you. I was like, who am I talking to right now? It's that's fire, of course, bro. I appreciate you. You're a very respectful person when you call in, at least. And so I don't want you to feel like I'm tearing down your opinion here, but I'm like, what? I don't know what we're arguing about here, though, because like you're saying it's going to take multiple years for the culture to change. So what? You don't make a culture changing move? Why would you not start? Why would you not start from the top down? Why would you not stop?
Because Lamar's already late 20s, right? So why not start with a young guy?
No, if I was Washington, I'd be doing everything I could possibly do to get Lamar. But if I'm Lamar, I don't want to go to Washington personally. Like, I would not want to touch Washington.
I think I get what you're trying to say now, because I'm trying to rack my brain. Like, what are you saying though? Because like, if changing the culture is something that you want to do, then Lamar's the best starting point, because the quarterback's how you change the culture, and there's no quarterback, so there's no culture. And so we got East Coast Taddy dropping a 5 exclusive memberships from East Coast Taddy. You're a machine. Appreciate you. But I don't know that Lamar's thinking about it from the perspective that you are. Because guess what? Guess what, bro? It doesn't matter. It's a good enough culture, and he would be excited enough about the prospect of the culture change with the new management. And if you walk in and drop a guaranteed contract that the Ravens wouldn't even consider, and you drop that right on his lap, he's gonna sign it. He wants out in a way. I know he wants Odell in a way, right, as his receiver. He's excited about that, but we have gotten confirmation, and I've got it on screen here. Let me see if I can put it on screen. We've got confirmation here that Odell Beckham Jr. said he received no assurances from Lamar Jackson that Jackson would play for the Baltimore Ravens in 2023. Thank you for dropping all these.
He should be playing. You can go.
I think this is the last one. I'm sorry about all the blow-ups on the screen here. East Coast Taddy's the man, dropping all these memberships. Thank you, East Coast Taddy.
So I think Lamar should go to the Jets, and I think the Jets should make a massive move to try and get. They will, but they're probably going to go Rodgers.
Bro, they're
probably going to go Rodgers.
They're eventually gonna.
They're gonna go Rodgers.
Yeah, they're gonna go Rodgers for now. But if the Packers continue to play this game with them, and they like, let me explain it from this perspective. I'm the owner of the Jets. Okay, good day. Good day. I got Breece Hall. I got Garrett Wilson. I'm excited. I'm not sleeping at night. I'm so excited about the season. So I'm the owner of the Jets, okay? And you're putting me in a position with my back against the wall, making me trust Green Bay for the future of the franchise. But I have this alternate plan over here that looks pretty good. It looks about as good as Aaron Rodgers, and it gives me a lot more long-term ability. And I'm fully enabled, supported, and with my own decision making, obviously, but with everyone around me, that we spare no expense to bring in that difference maker, and we'll overpay if we've got to, because we need that quarterback presence for any of this other stuff to even make sense. Like, you have the number 1 defense in the league, number 2 defense in the league. Doesn't matter if you don't have a quarterback. You're wasting away all of these years where you have a window, and then you gotta re-up with Garrett Wilson. You got to re-up with Sauce Gardner. You got to re-up with Breece Hall. You've got so many, and that's just naming a handful. You have so many players that in 2-3 years' time, you've got to potentially re-up and lose other players and pieces of the defense in order to keep those core players. You have a window. You have a window, and you need to make sure you feed these players, or it's all for nothing. And so if I'm the Jets right now, I guarantee you they're kicking around the idea of Do we let Green Bay screw us in this? Do we let Green Bay make Aaron Rodgers so mad that he just retires and walks away? Look, Aaron Rodgers was teeter-tottering on the idea of coming back to begin with. Do you think the Jets aren't a little scared that Aaron Rodgers could change his mind and say, screw this. This is why I don't even want to be a part of anything. I'm done. I'm walking away. And then what? Lamar's already re-signed with the Ravens because they waited. After the NFL draft, because I don't think the Jets want to use this number 14 overall pick. 14, I keep forgetting what it, number 13. I don't think the Jets want to use this 13 overall pick, which they would have to if they offer sheet Lamar. This would be included because it's the most recent pick in the first round and then the next most recent first rounder in 2024. Once the draft is over and they don't know what's going on officially, like they don't have a deal in place, I'm picking up the phone if I'm the Jets and I say, or I'm picking up the phone if I'm the Jets and I to Lamar and I say, Lamar, incoming offer sheet, get ready. And I offer the man money that he cannot refuse. And I say, screw it all. Screw it all. We're not waiting on the Packers. And then that's when we said earlier, and this is where Jordan said that my take is a bad take, Aaron Rodgers has a decision to make. And I'm not saying it's going to be an easy decision. I'm not saying it's going to be a decision that doesn't resort to him just retiring. And I'm not even saying he would go back to Green Bay to stick it to Green Bay. But all those are options. And if you ask Aaron Rodgers, what now? And he's like, crap. He's going to look at the Niners. He's going to look at the Washington Commanders. He's going to look at a couple different teams, and he gets to say where he's going. And especially if this falls through, the Packers aren't going to play around again because then they're going to have to pay Aaron Rodgers if he wanted to return to the roster. And Aaron Rodgers, look, if I'm Aaron Rodgers and the Packers screw me, I'm returning, and then I'm getting a hamstring injury. That's what Aaron Rodgers is doing. Oh, I'm back for my $40 million. Oh, my hammy. My hammy. I'm going to go sit on the bench. My hamstring hurts. They screwed him. He could screw them. He can sit out the entire season with a bad hamstring. He got it from the darkness retreat when he was doing squats. He was doing squats in the dark. And he tore his hamstring. He must have tore it. I think that Aaron Rodgers would be tempted to go to the Washington Commanders or the Niners if, let's say, all this fell through in a crazy way. But mark my words, if the Green Bay Packers keep pushing this thing past the NFL draft, the Jets are going to make an inquiry. They're gonna make it known we're looking at Lamar. We're looking at Lamar, and I don't think it'll be full of just a fabricated, fake, smoke screen sort of situation. I think it's going to be a telegraph move that we see coming, and we're like, holy crap, it's happening. And they, out of all teams, the Jets won't spare any expense. They'll give him what he wants. The
only way that Aaron Rodgers ends up on the Washington Commanders is if he goes deep into the woods of South America and ends up doing ayahuasca with a shaman.
Maybe, bro. Let's go over to Mike. Mike, you're live on the Fantasy Football Show.
Yeah, Smitty, we know about Bijan, right?
We know about him. Yes, we do.
We know about ETN.
We know about him, too.
They're all moon men.
We know about them.
They're all fired.
We know about him, yep.
What about this year's Josh Jacobs?
This year's Josh
Cam Akers.
Who?
Is it Cam Akers? Cam Akers.
No. I mean, could it be? I suppose, bro. But this is an Achilles recovering running back that I coined as the most injury-prone running back, one of the most injury-prone running backs in my top 2 or 3, walking into that season where he tore his Achilles tendon. I did not predict he'd tear his Achilles tendon. I'm not saying that. But I am saying that he walked in as my 1, 2, or 3 most injury-prone running back in the National Football League.
And who is he? Who is Josh Jacobs? I need to know.
Who is the next Josh Jacobs?
Yes.
If I had to guess, bro, let me pull my rankings and let me give you a confidence level of that for a bunch of guys, okay? So here are the running backs in 2023 that have, and we're talking he could be the number 1 running back and lead the league. That's your question, right?
Yeah.
Saquon's too big of a name, but Saquon's too big of a name, but clearly Saquon could be that guy if you're wanting a big name player. Tony Pollard could be that guy. Nick Chubb's too big of a name, but
those are all first and second rounders.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a
I'm going down the list,
That's
Mike.
Texas.
I'm going down the list, Mike.
Okay.
I'm going down the pecking order here. Ramondre Stevenson. You're starting to flirt a little more with okay, he could be the number one running back. He certainly could. Like, there's that potential there. Najee Harris could bounce back. He's a third rounder. So I don't think we can really say that Najee doesn't have that sort of allure because he's a third round pick. You know, Jacobs was once a top 15 overall pick, and then last year he wasn't. So Najee kind of fits the bill very, very perfectly if you were to talk like about from that angle. Aaron Jones certainly has the possibility of having a bounce back top 5 season, but I don't think he could be the number one, but you never know. I think it really comes down to, bro, you know, looking at this list of RBs, I don't see anybody other than potentially, I would say, these rookies, you know, like Charbonnet and all those guys. I don't think they're number one, but I'm saying they're going to become Charbonnet, I think, is going to become a top 10 running back. So he's going to be like a poor man's version of Jacobs because he's not going to be number one, but he might be one of those guys you draft a combination of Kamara and Charbonnet, and between those two guys, you're getting high-end running back 2 production, maybe low-end running back 1 production. So I don't know that there's like a Jacobs other than maybe Pollard, other than maybe Ramondre, other than Najee Harris. ETN, obviously,
I have
he's
one on there.
a big enough
I have
name.
one on there, Smitty.
Go ahead.
Montgomery.
He could. I mean, he's got the potential to be a top 5 to 10 running back. That would be where I say he pulls his poor man's version of Josh Jacobs. Could he be the number one? I don't think so. If we're talking about number one overall player,
James Conner, Arizona. They're going to be a bad team this year. They're going to need somebody to carry them to make sure that the coaches don't get fired. I think James Conner could be the next Josh.
I mean, it's a good guess, but I don't like James Conner. Dameon Pierce, you never know. Dameon Pierce. I would say if we're talking about becoming the number one running back, the only players in that, like outside the top 10 running backs that have the capability of being number one. Madison's a good one too, East Coast Taddy. You never know. But to be number one would be Ramondre, Najee, Pollard. I think those are the 3 most capable of being number one or flirting with the number one running back spot constantly. But that's it. I don't see, you know, like Gibbs or Charbonnet, they're going to be potentially top 5 to 10. Those are really good options. But like to be number one and be shockingly, you know, better than anybody ever could have possibly imagined, those feel like the most likely guys. Like even Pacheco, Dameon Pierce, they could be shockingly good, but I don't know about number one. Dalvin Cook, no, I think there's a possibility he's way, way better than people anticipate, but I don't know about being one. JK, I'd say no. You never know. This is a very hypothetical question, and anybody could be right. I mean, I wouldn't have projected Jacobs to be the guy if you asked me the similar question, and so we don't really know. But let's go to Steven from Massachusetts. What's up, Steven? Steven? Hello? Steven?
Hey, Smitty, sorry. There we go.
What's up?
Hey, what's going on, man? As I was calling in, you're already talking about the Lamar Jackson and Washington. I was actually going to call in and talk about that, but it seems like you're already covering that, so I don't know if I want to bring that up.
I mean, bro, it's look, new ownership is going to open the door to Lamar Jackson talk. I love that people are saying that their football team already said they're not doing it. Wait till they get new ownership that walks in and says this stuff stops now. This playing around, this horseplay that we've been doing, horsing around, not getting a quarterback in here, just holding all this talent and becoming a laughing stock of the NFL because we literally from top to bottom have a good squad that can compete, but we don't have a quarterback, and we continue to go down the same road every single year. Lamar Jackson sitting there. Like, as much as I've called him a bust in Baltimore, as much as I do agree Lamar's got some holes in his game and an inability to stay healthy. Like, what makes anybody think he's not the best shot that a lot of these teams have and if you keep them healthy, you end up being a top 6, top 7, top 8 team in the National Football League. Give me a better option if you're the Washington Commanders. Give me a better option if you're the New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers falls through. Give me a better option if you're the 49ers and Brock Purdy gets a bad prognosis and you're already doubting Trey Lance and setting him up for failure. You know, in as much as I love Trey Lance, the Niners win a Super Bowl if they get Lamar Jackson. What's more important than that? Like, even if I like Brock and Brock Purdy, like, let's say Brock Purdy is a pretty decent prognosis. He can come back by midseason and be fully go. I still trade for Lamar Jackson if I'm the Niners because your window's closing and Brock Purdy can learn behind him. And you know, whatever. Sign Lamar to a 3-year deal. Sign Lamar to a 3-year deal and give him his guaranteed money that he wants. And then Brock Purdy's still a young guy. Like, it's not like you won't have Brock Purdy developing there. Lamar Jackson wins you a championship. He wins you a championship. The Niners win the Super Bowl if Lamar Jackson goes to the Niners. So it's like, you can argue like Purdy, I like the cheap quarterback room. Who cares? Who cares when you're not winning Super Bowls? How many jersey sales do you have alone from Lamar Jackson jerseys? How much money is made by having Lamar on the team alone? Not to mention how much money is made and how much does the franchise get lifted up by winning a Super Bowl even one time? That feeds an organization for years. And so there's a lot of reasons financially that you want to overpay for Lamar.
No, I agree with you, man. And with the, I think on the Washington side too, I think one big factor I think into all of it is Magic Johnson. He has a stake in that too. And when he's has like some type of like ownership, he's usually done pretty good. I mean, he did pretty good for the Dodgers and especially like trying to like recruit players even when he was with the Lakers. I wouldn't be surprised if Magic Johnson's trying to talk to Lamar Jackson himself and trying to see if he could like swing a deal to try to get him to go to Washington.
Bro,
see what he could do.
Bro, that entire, like I said earlier, I'm not sure if you missed it, but that entire eclectic group of owners they're going to be there to solve problems, and they're going to think outside the box, and they're going to think differently than ownership has been thinking about this problem. And they're going to walk in and they're going to say, I don't care what anybody below us thinks. We're getting Lamar Jackson. Go make it happen. Let's turn this thing around. Do you know how much buzz that would be around that move? Like, here's the curse has been broken, and now there's new ownership, and they said they didn't want Lamar, but the new ownership comes in and says, yes, we do, and we're going to get him, and we're going to offer him a big fat contract, and they solve a lot of problems. Think about it. Right now, what's going on with Lamar Jackson? Very negative feel about how teams and owners are handling that, correct?
Yeah.
And don't you think that by bringing Lamar in, you solve a quarterback problem? You solve an equality problem in what's going on with Lamar's situation, the collusion talk, the fact that and these owners are brand new owners, so they're not involved in all the old old boys club thinking of like, oh, we're going to band together and do this, and this. If anybody does think some of that's going on, and like I've always said, I don't think it's going on a grand scale, but I think it is going on. They're going to come in and say, we don't care what any of that. We're going to show you. Not only are we going to solve that problem, the political side of what's going on with Lamar, but we're going to come in and we're going to take a quarterback that we see, unlike these other teams that aren't even attempting to talk to him. We see a guy that could fix the franchise and be a top 5 quarterback. It's asinine that teams aren't even interested. It's asinine that Arthur Blank and the Falcons have shot down Lamar because of the injury concern when they were all for Watson and wanted to overpay Deshaun Watson. Way to go, Arthur Blank. Shooting blanks once again. These owners are ridiculously stupid.
I agree with you, Smitty. And the culture thing too is like they want to talk like for some of those teams. I mean, if they want to say if they bring something up for like Lamar, if he's like a bad like culture guy, what about like Deshaun Watson? You don't think that's like a bad like culture thing? I mean, that is like still like some bad press. I mean, Cleveland the whole like time that Cleveland signed him. I mean, like you look at, I think it was like the first like couple months that he was there, they were still like had to answer questions for like all like the women that were pressing like charges on him and stuff. So I don't understand. So for that, to me, I think that does. I agree with you. I think that doesn't really make any sense. I would rather have Lamar because all of like the bad publicity that he's getting just because like he has like a bad agent and like that's it. And with the Washington stuff too is like I think that'd be a good move for them because like with Daniel Snyder, all the stuff that you read about him that he was like a dirtbag and everything. Yeah. What better way for like to bring like some hope to the fan base by getting like Lamar and showing that they're trying to turn over like a new leaf and they're really trying to do stuff because it is like a lot of work there, man. I don't know if you heard about that type of stuff, like especially like with the stuff that like he was doing with like the stadium and everything, and like how he was like he like some of the players were complaining that they didn't get like hot water. Like if you really like look into that stuff, they really have like a lot of work to like try to fix like some of the stuff that he was doing. So I hope like the best just for like Washington fans and whatnot.
Yeah. I don't understand how Lamar being bad for the culture is that's Fire still here. Lamar isn't bad for the culture. Terrible take. Yeah, who said that Lamar is bad for the culture? I forget. I don't understand. I don't understand how anybody could say that. What's Lamar done that would be bad for the culture? And again, at re-emphasizing the point made earlier and what Steven just said. It's like you solve a lot of problems by bringing Lamar in as the Washington Commanders. You solve the quarterback problem that they've had. You show that you're gonna ignite the fan base. Does anybody realize if the Washington Commanders said, you know what, all you idiots out there that are just sitting on the Lamar Jackson situation, we've got the balls to make it happen. Maybe they even have the balls to make it just to avoid like a bidding war later. Maybe they've got the balls to say, you know what? We could care less about this number 16 overall pick. And because it's in the middle of the draft, who's to say that the 2024 and 2025 first rounders don't end up somewhere there? They hope they're at the end of the draft because they're winning, right? But they might say, you know what? We are going to pounce on this now. Offer sheet, ignition, boom. Drop it on his lap. Give up the 2023 16. And that even makes the Ravens more apt to not match it. You know what I mean? Like there's pros and cons to involving the 16 pick versus not involving it and waiting until after the draft. If you wait, you have more competition for Lamar and you could miss out. If you do it now, no one's going to be probably in competition with you. And so if the 16 pick's involved and the Ravens were teeter-tottering on, we could match this offer, they might be able to offer a little lesser financial commitment and know that the Ravens will take the 16 pick and go, you know what, that's a high pick, let's take it. So there's a lot of pros and cons to it, but if anybody doesn't think that this ownership might come in and say, let's clean up this thing right from the start. Imagine the jersey sales in Washington, Lamar Jackson jersey sales. Imagine the hype if your new owner comes in and day one goes and gets Lamar Jackson. You're going to be so hyped about your team. The public opinion on the new ownership would be through the roof, 100% rating on Yelp. Their Yelp reviews are going to be through the roof.
Hey, Smitty.
Yeah.
How much more would a Lamar, how much more do you think that makes him? Does that equal him to a Fields, like value-wise?
It certainly puts him in the same tier. Whether I actually move him ahead of Fields, I don't know. I believe I would put him right side by side because you got McLaurin, you got Dotson, you've got a decent running crew, but they still may address that. Like the Washington Commanders, what if they take Sean Tucker? What if they take Kendre Miller? Those are very, very nice sleeper running backs. And you add that to the running back room. Brian Robinson still ran very hard, and I think he deserves a shot. But I mean, it doesn't mean I wouldn't take a Zach Charbonnet in round 2 if I got so lucky. I'd be active, bro. I'd be so active. I'd be so active in this Washington Commander situation. Is one that needed to be addressed, and that's why we've talked about it for so long on this show.
Hey, Smitty, if they did make that move and Lamar did go there, where would Terry McLaurin be ranked playing with Lamar? How far up on the draft board would he go up?
Thank you, Isaac, for the $4.99 hauler. If you subtract Lamar from the Ravens, what have they done right as an organization? Yeah, bro, the Ravens are. It's going to be a sad day for Ravens fans if Lamar does actually leave. I think right now they feel like, oh, we'll be fine with Huntley, but once it settles in, they're going to feel like a paper tiger team. They're not even paper tigers. They don't even look tough. They're essentially just paper. But real quickly, McLaurin, I would say, Steven, to answer your question, I don't know where I'd put him because Dotson's so good all in his own right. I don't really know which one they may take away from each other in a way that not one of them is like a top 8 wide receiver or something, but they're both capable of being top 15 guys, potentially top 18 guys. Lamar's not going to feed them both, probably. Lamar's going to win. Lamar's going to have good production, all around, but I think, maybe they both don't survive like they would under, like if Aaron Rodgers went to Washington, they both have a much better, probably, seasons. So I think McLaurin can still be a top 15 wide receiver, but I think it's a move where we don't just vault one of them into the top 10. There's too many good top 10 wide receivers. He's not bumping out Olave or Christian Watson or any of these guys, Higgins, but it does make McLaurin and Dotson feel more consistent for sure. Let's go over to Tyler. Tyler, you're live.
Yeah. Hi, I just have a couple of trades. They're all going to be super flex, and I just wanted to get your opinion.
Tyler, my man. We got to get you Ron Navy made a good point. This is the same Tyler that was doing the Superflex trades earlier, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You need to DM me, bro. Email me through thefantasyfootballshow.com. All right. Send me a little email there. Give me your offers here.
One of them is straight up Murray for Carr. I'd get Carr.
Okay.
The other one is the 2023 first and a 2024 third. Jordan Love.
Where's that first at? Where's that 2023 first at?
112.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is the 1.2 and the third rounder? 1.12? Is that correct?
112 and the 312.
Okay, so 1.12 and a 3.12 for Love. I like that one. I don't think I trade Murray for Carr in a dynasty setting. As much as I think it could work for this year, I still think his upside is greater.
Even with Murray missing like half the year.
Well, that's what you got to ask yourself: is can you win now anyway? Like, are you about to dominate, bro? If you're not, then just hold off on wait on Murray because he could be back by midseason. Like, what if you're like, even if you made this trade, what if you had like 2 wins through like 7 weeks? And then all of a sudden, Murray's back, and you're like, crap, I could have just had Murray now. I didn't even benefit from having Carr for those weeks. My team sucked, or whatever. Keep Murray. Murray's a top 6 fantasy quarterback potentially when everything's going smooth. He's got that upside. This right here is a home run smash. 1.12, I could care less. 3.12, not that they're bad pick. That's a bad pick, but this right here, Jordan Love has the potential to be a top 10 quarterback. I know we don't know what he's going to be. I know a lot of people doubt him, but you give me Jordan Love's upside. Even if, let's say, Aaron Rodgers went back to Green Bay in some crazy, unraveling, they would trade Jordan Love. Jordan Love's going to start. Jordan Love's going to do well with Christian Watson. Jordan Love's got a lot of upside. They're enamored with him. I think he could do pretty well. He's worth the gamble of a 1.12, bro. Like, if it doesn't work out, it was a nice attempt.
Okay. And then the last one is I would trade the 103 of this year and a 2025 first to get Jared Goff, Austin Eckler, and like a whole bunch of nothing. Like the 2025 second, the 2023 302, and the 2024 third.
It's a bunch of thirds. Is your team capable of winning?
Hold on. In that one, I have let's see.
All right, hang tight. You find that information. Brucey, what else you got? We'll come back to this. Grab that info, Tyler.
Okay.
I'm thinking of David Montgomery, or what would you do, Kenneth Walker or Najee?
Kenneth Walker. Redraft Dynasty doesn't matter. Kenneth Walker is top 5 overall capable, and we're stealing him away in the 15 to 20 range. Najee's a third rounder who could be better, but that's where he belongs for right now until he proves, that he's going to be able to bounce back. I like Najee a lot, but he's a third rounder for a reason. We're worried. We're skeptical. Kenneth Walker could climb into round 1 by August, and for good reason, but we're going to continue to take advantage, taking candy from a baby and drafting Walker in round 2 for as long as it lasts. But they're a mile apart, in terms of draft value. They're a mile apart in terms of upside right now until he bounces back. We still got we want to see that the foot's healthy. There's a lot of things we need to see with Najee. Najee's in the third round for a reason, but very, very good upside in the third round. Very good. If he was going at like 14 overall, I wouldn't be taking Najee at all.
Okay.
But Walker, I would.
Yeah, I was looking. I'm like,
Tyler, is your team capable of winning?
Yeah, so my team consists of Trevor Lawrence, Nick Chubb, Jamal Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Devonta Smith, Amari Cooper, George Kittle, Aaron Jones.
It's a pretty good team. The only thing I'm going to say, though, bro, is that as much as who are your 2 quarterbacks in this Superflex?
At the moment, it'll be Geno Smith and Trevor Lawrence.
Those are good enough quarterbacks. You don't need this trade. I hate to say it because Eckler's got a lot of potential for half of a year, and it looks great on paper. You're getting Austin Eckler. He's a big name, but the 1.3, I mean, you're talking about JSN or Gibbs, and that player is just worth more in Dynasty than any of the players below. Like Goff is, because it's a 2 QB league, it's borderline arguable that Goff would go ahead of those guys in a super flex, but by force. People would force it. It's not necessarily one of those moves that I agree with the value. The fact that you're okay at quarterback, you're going to struggle between Goff and Geno. And so why put yourself in a position where you're getting rid of a 1.3 JSN or Gibbs for an Eckler who's going to not have that much time left to have a struggle at quarterback? And then who knows what your 2025 first rounder is going to look like. So I'm in the business of going and getting a Christian Watson, an Olave, another 1.4, 1.5 using, my 25 first rounder and some stuff. But I'm not in the business of getting rid of the younger, better potential talent for older players. And Goff, who knows how good Goff is 2 years from now? He's good now. He's an exciting quarterback in some ways and a super flex now as your second quarterback. But in 2 years, he might look like Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan was as hyped as Goff was about 2 years before he fell off the face of the earth. I started to say, get ready for a Matt Ryan decline. And I got so much hate for it. Everyone said, Matt Ryan, he's got Julio, and he's doing so amazing. Ridley, are you out of your mind, Smitty? And Matt Ryan just fell apart. Like Goff is not some 5 to 10 year elite quarterback, sitting there in the making. He had a good year last year. He's got a good situation this year, but let's take it year by year with Goff. No way. Keep the 103.
Okay, I guess then question would be, with the roster that I have now, what would be the 103? Because I've heard from like other like YouTubers that I've seen, like everybody says like, oh, 103 should be a QB. But if I have already Trevor Lawrence and Geno Smith,
should be what?
Wouldn't the 103? Wouldn't that QB just be a waste?
You know what the 103 is? The best player available. Don't listen to these other YouTube channels, bro. You draft the best player available. It probably will be Jahmyr Gibbs or JSN. It could be Charbonnet, but you don't know. Anybody gives you an answer now is feeding you a bunch of crap. Like, you don't know. Landing spot's going to determine whether JSN's a lock at the 1.2 for you. It wouldn't be crazy to go quarterback, but I probably wouldn't because you got Geno Smith. And if anything, I'd just try and trade Geno Smith for another pick that would get me one of those quarterbacks like Anthony Richardson if you wanted to go that route. But no, you're probably taking a JSN or a Jahmyr Gibbs or a Zach Charbonnet. And maybe you get lucky, bro, and somehow they go quarterback, and you get Bijan Robinson. I would try and trade that number 3 up to the 1. I would take full control of my destiny, and I'd go get Bijan Robinson. I'd give up my 2025 first rounder that you were just kicking around and tossing into deals. Throw that into a deal, give up the 103 and a 2025 first. Go get Bijan and take control of destiny. Grab it by the nads, bro. I would.
Okay.
And also, my recommendation, Tyler, because you're new to all this, is do a couple like redraft leagues. You jumped into the most complicated type of format, Superflex Dynasty. Like you're getting embedded in football, fantasy football, in the most complex, most moving parts, toughest type of league to get into. Like you should do a couple redraft 1 QB leagues and do the underdog drafts. Those are the best. Have you ever signed up for the underdog stuff yet?
I haven't.
Yeah, try playing underdog because they're $10 a pop. Sometimes the contests are even cheaper, like $5 entry leagues. But I dropped that link. I pinned it in the live chat. Anybody that wants to draft with us on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays. Today is what, Thursday? So we'll be drafting tonight on Underdog Fantasy. Promo code Smitty. Link has been dropped in the live chat. They'll match up to $100 in your first deposit. So if you deposit 10, Tyler, they're going to give you 10. You deposit 100, they'll give you 100. So up to $100 in your first deposit. But tonight we'll be drafting, and I think you get some good experience out of drafting tonight because they're super flex, Tyler. They're super flex right now on Underdog. So you'd be doing these $10 drafts. There's no management. There's no ad drops. There's no waivers. You draft a deep enough team. And the strategy behind it is you draft a deep enough team that the best lineup started each week for you. You don't do a thing. You draft it, it's one and done. And then you just hope you drafted enough depth to survive. Thank you, dog. Appreciate you signing up for the Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. Link is pinned in the live chat. All right, Tyler, hang tight. If you got another question, I'll circle back. That's fire. You're live again.
Yeah, I just wanted. So you put Deshaun Watson on your Planet Uranus list, and I'm just kind of curious why that is.
Known as Uranus.
Because to me, getting Elijah Moore, having Donovan Peoples-Jones, Amari Cooper, who's getting older, and Nick Chubb and David Njoku, that offense could be, you could argue, one of the most prolific sleeper teams to kind of hoard players from deep in the draft, later rounds. So what's your take on that?
Well, I mean, says you, not says me. I mean, first of all, we went over this before. Nick Chubb fell off once Deshaun Watson was under center. Scored, I believe, 0 touchdowns on the ground once Deshaun Watson was in there. Nick Chubb was dominant before Deshaun Watson. So this offense is not clicking. Like you can say whatever you want in predicting it to click, but you have really, other than, a decent like final game or so, final 2 games where Watson threw, what was it, like 5 touchdowns in the last 2 games. Like other than that one little piece of momentum, there's not much to look at. So like you have, and I'm not saying Watson's a super team type of component. But like when you look at NBA teams that have super teams that don't mesh well, just because you have a lot of talent doesn't mean the team's going to be great. Like the fact that the Browns didn't look good with Deshaun Watson under center, until they do, I'm giving them no credit whatsoever to be this sort of like super team fantasy football monster of a squad. Like I like Amari Cooper played fairly well last year. I mean, when you look at the stats, it was shocking to me that he had the numbers he had, and I admitted that. Like I was like, wow, Cooper had a lot better year than I thought. Same thing with Aaron Jones. Those were the two players that I look back on the stats, and I'm like, wow, I did not know Aaron Jones did that well at the end of the day. And I usually never, that stuff never slips by me, but they just had two of those weird years. I mean, Deshaun Watson, bro, tell me that's fire. He's failed, bro. Like he's failed. Like has he delivered what he was supposed to deliver? No. So like you have no reason to like think that it's an odd stance to be like still doubting him. You have every right to be like, I think he's going to bounce back. He just needed a full year. Like I get that. I'm not against your take being one that's got some sort of like chance, you know, but like you have nothing that really is screaming that this team is going to blow up in 2023. We only have the fact that it didn't mesh well. We only have the fact that Nick Chubb was a monster at the beginning of the year and did not score one rushing touchdown once Deshaun Watson was under center. It didn't mesh well, bro. Like we need to see it happen before.
I think the point I'll make about this is Deshaun Watson only got 5 games last year because obviously
it's his fault.
There's character issues there.
Right.
I mean, come on.
That's part of why
at
he's.
The same time,
that's part of why he's on the list.
You can say that he's failed. I don't think you can say that he's failed because, I mean, if you look back on his tenure with the Texans, this guy is born to be a top 5 quarterback in the league. And before all this stuff went down, Deshaun Watson was a top 5 quarterback.
You're telling me
I haven't given up on him.
You're telling me lullabies and bedtime stories about the past and fables. Like, bro, you know who was great? Josh Gordon. Josh Gordon was a monster in waiting, on the rise, and then he had a big gap in play, and he never recaptured it. Calvin Ridley, we're worried a little bit about that sitting out 2 years, and we're hoping that he breaks that mold of sitting out for multiple years, coming back and playing well. You have example after example after example. Very few. Ricky Williams, but that's an RB. Very few examples of a player stepping away for a long period of time, coming back and recapturing what they had. What you just saw in 2022 was more likely a sign that he's not going to recapture it for sure. At least it's going to be an uphill battle rather than, oh yeah, he's back, baby. First game in, look what he did. Second game in, look what he did. No, instead, you're seeing a pattern that we've seen time and time again where a player gets pulled away, steps away, gets suspended for a long period of time, and recapturing that elite ability is a lot harder than it is to just start kicking it back off into high gear, bro. Like, I get what you're saying, but part of the reason he's on this list,
and off he goes,
is because of the character problems, because of the potential that this guy won't be able to keep on the straight and narrow with all of his, off the field potential issues. Like, there's a lot of reasons he's on that list, but Deshaun Watson has proven nothing in his return yet. Brissett was better.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. No. I refuse to accept that. In my opinion, if Deshaun Watson returns back to form, because Deshaun Watson, in my opinion, is better than Josh Allen and Justin Fields. He's not better than.
Whoa.
Wait,
what'd you just say? Deshaun Watson is better than who?
Josh Allen and Justin Fields, and if he returns to form, which we don't know because we've only seen him play 5 games.
Bro,
it's unfair to judge him.
Bro,
he hasn't had a full season back.
Did you just say that Deshaun Watson is better than Josh Allen? I mean, if you want to throw Fields out there, yet whatever. People rip on Fields all the time. Josh Allen is head and shoulders above Deshaun Watson. Not to mention, you can continue to say he'll bounce back, or if he returns to form. That's like saying if Josh Gordon comes back and returns to form. From what we've seen, he has not returned to form. So you can say that line all you want, and that line kind of protects you into, well, he could have been if he returned to form. He's not the same guy, bro. Could he climb back in?
If.
Hold on. Could he? Is there a world, bro, where he could become the same guy? Sure. There's a world where I see that maybe under the right circumstances, it would be shockingly crazy to me. But is there a world where this guy returns to form? Maybe. But is there also the thought that he's done, he won't ever recapture it, and the evidence so far supports that narrative? It'd be one thing if he came back for 5 games and blew up, and you're like, he's going to come on, a whole offseason, he's going to come on fire, and sure.
Yeah, okay. So, wait a minute. So a year sitting out and a 12-game suspension, only playing 5 games in the year he comes back, is proof that he's not it. I refuse to accept that, especially at the quarterback
I know you
position.
do. I know you refuse to accept it, but you also just said Josh Allen is not as good as Deshaun Watson. And you can't play the game of, if he goes back to form. That's the whole argument. Like, to even suggest that Josh Allen and Watson are in the same tier, bro, is just, it's a slanted take. I appreciate your slanted take, but you're completely slanted on this. You're not seeing straight. You can't compare. You can't say even in what if worlds. What if this happens, he's better than Josh Allen. Josh Allen's a top 1 to 4 quarterback, bro. This is a Hall of Fame quarterback. Watson won't sniff the Hall of Fame. Josh Allen's going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback, bro.
He is going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback, but he's incredibly inconsistent, and I'm going to avoid Allen and Fields this year. To me, if I'm going early quarterback, it's going to be either Mahomes or Hurts, or I'm going to wait on Burrow or T-Law, or even Watson, to be honest with you. I won't touch Allen and Fields because I don't think they're the players everyone else makes them out to be. I really don't. And I get that. The thing that's unfair for me to say about Allen is Allen's fantasy production is there, and I get that. And he is a really good passer and a really good runner as well. But he turns the ball over too much. And he turns the ball over too much. He could regress. He really could regress, and I don't think people see that with Josh Allen.
Bro, he's that type of quarterback. Like, Brett Favre always threw interceptions. Josh Allen is a cowboy. That's his style of play. He's a cowboy quarterback. Like, he's not going to be a 9-11 interception quarterback that plays it safe and throws the ball away. This is a guy that's going to fumble the ball at the goal line during a playoff game where he's going to lose the game. And then the next year he's going to come in and absolutely shred everybody and finally win a Super Bowl. Josh Allen's going to win a couple Super Bowls. I don't know if he's going to win 5, 6, 7, 8, but he's going to win a couple Super Bowls, bro. I know he's winning one, but he's going to win a couple. He's going to play a long time. Allen is a top 5. He's a top 3 to 4 quarterback lock every single year from a football perspective, from a fantasy perspective. This is a crazy conversation we're having right now. Deshaun Watson doesn't even sniff the tier that Josh Allen has created. Like, they're not even. We're talking about prime rib and Taco Bell beef, bro.
Yeah, I'm open to it. I really do think that Fields and Allen are both candidates for regression. Maybe not Fields because, to be honest with you, the rushing numbers are great, but the passing numbers weren't. With Allen, the passing numbers are fantastic, and the rushing numbers are fantastic. Allen, ever since Dayball left, Allen was not as good last year.
Yeah. Here's Rock Out. Hold on 1 second. Rock Out.
Breece Hall, he coming. He ready to score a touchdown. It's mad confetti. Like we partying. Like
Let's go.
That's how we going. We party, y'all. It's Breece Hall in the building.
Thank you, Rock Out. Appreciate you. Another Breece Hall track from the man, the myth, the legend, Rock Out, who drops music tracks on this show all the time. Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna move on from That's Fire and get some other reactions on some of this. In my opinion, no offense, That's Fire, but absurd comparisons. Let's go over to the 850 caller. I don't even know who this is. But what do you think about the comparisons, 850 caller? To that's fire. You could stay on the phone. He hung up again. I feel like I don't know if that's fire hangs up just to get out of here, or if he hangs up because he's mad. Yeah, go ahead, 850.
Hey, what's up, Sneeze? Just shout out to you, man. I love the show. Shout out to you down from Florida, but I don't think it's crazy to compare Josh Allen to Deshaun Watson. Josh Allen, he's a great. He's gonna be a great quarterback, and he's bigger than Deshaun Watson, and he might be a little more athletic, but he needed something behind him to get him to where he's at. Deshaun Watson dominated in college and then came into the NFL and put up numbers immediately with or without good receivers. But you know, I get where both you guys coming from. I was more so just calling. I don't want to like argue. I just want to shout out to you. I love the show.
Appreciate it.
I just want to call and say that.
Show loves you back. Look, I appreciate the Deshaun Watson truthers out there. There are a lot of truthers out there that part of me thinks it's no offense, but people that own him. They own him already. They've got him on their team. You know, like they're rooting for him for a reason. I get that, and I understand that. I've got those situations. We all do. But like every argument that's pro Deshaun Watson has nothing to do with the now. They're all, you know, he was great in college. He was great here. He did this in the past. All we know is he stepped on the field and he didn't look like the same Deshaun Watson, and that's all we can go on. And he also missed a significant amount of time, and we have a history of seeing players that are amazing, bro. Like Josh Gordon is the best example that you could ever come up with. Josh Gordon was on the Randy Moss track. There were people that truly believed this was the next Randy Moss, and they weren't wrong. But when you step away from the game for a significant amount of time, I just don't. It's a lot harder to recapture that than people think, and that's the only thing we can go on is what we've seen, and what we've seen is the offense kind of not mesh well. Nick Chubb went from an absolute monster to not scoring one rushing touchdown with Deshaun Watson under center for those 5 or 6 games. I don't know, bro. I'm not saying it's impossible that he can't recapture a top like 6, 7, 8 quarterback production. Like, just to be fair, if I'm in a super flex draft and I get screwed at quarterback and I'm sitting there at like the end of round 2, I might take a gamble on Deshaun Watson. I'm not saying that there isn't opportunity for him to score some fantasy points and kind of earn some kind of like later super flex. You screwed up at your QB1 in one spot and you got to go Watson. Like, I'm not saying there's not a world where he can't be worth taking a chance on, but it's literally you're taking a chance on him. It's that mentality for me. And Josh Allen, to compare Josh Allen or Fields to Watson is crazy to me. But I respect your take, and I respect everyone's take. I even respect That's Fire. I know he always jumps off the line as soon as we argue or whatever, but it's like I think maybe he's just moving on and he calls back usually. But I appreciate your take, and the show loves you back. And don't ever feel like you can't respectfully debate the topics at hand. Because if someone comes in and is respectful, even if I go at the topic a little bit, I'm sorry if I come off a little abrasive on some of this stuff, but it's just the nature. This is my resting face. But it's like, bro, I can't let this one go without just chuckling. Like, I'm chuckling right now that, not at you, but at the topic of Deshaun Watson being even in the same tier or realm as Josh Allen. But that's me.
I had to laugh. I wanted to say something so bad I had to laugh.
What? What, rock out? Go, rock out. You're live. Hello, rock out. You were going to say something. Okay, I don't know what happened to him. Let's go over to Steven from Massachusetts. Steven, what's up, pal?
Hey, what's going on, man? All this Josh Allen and Deshaun Watson stuff is crazy, man. One guy, Josh Allen is I should know from first-hand experience. He's in my division, and the guy just dominates. He's just a baller. Even if he regressed a little bit. I mean, he's still considered one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the league. Deshaun Watson still has a lot
The minute that defense went down, that whole team fell apart. Von Miller was more in charge of that team than Josh Allen.
Hey, can we vote on this, please? I put a Josh Allen poll up.
I mean,
Can Watson even sniff Josh Allen? Can he even sniff Josh Allen? I didn't even say, like, can he be near?
Absolutely not.
So please vote. I want to
I don't
see how many
think so.
people, and be honest with it. If you don't, who cares if you disagree with me? But be honest with it. Can Watson even sniff Josh Allen? Let's see how many. It's crazy that there is a little more amount of. Look at 3-3. Woo!
Watson couldn't even hold Josh Allen's jockstrap.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
That's ridiculous. You put Josh Allen on any of those Texans teams, you will see a whole nother player.
no, but
Any of those Texans teams.
Deshaun Watson had DeAndre Hopkins for most of his career, and he had Will Fuller. So, you telling me that Josh Allen couldn't ball out with DeAndre Hopkins? Wasn't like DeAndre Hopkins?
No, Josh Allen can't even connect with Gabe Davis.
Come on.
I bet you give Deshaun Watson Gabe Davis.
Look at this. Look at this 7-7 vote. It's crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy.
Josh Allen is given a lot more credit than he deserves right now. Josh Allen hasn't proven more than Cam Newton had in his career. And people would sit up here and say Josh Allen better than Cam Newton, but he hasn't proven it.
This is crazy, man. This is absolutely asinine to me.
It's not crazy.
I feel like I'm in bizarro world.
For fantasy football,
For both.
Josh Allen's that dude.
For both.
When you watching real football,
For
Josh
both.
Allen is not that much. If he is even better,
You know what you're
Watson,
doing
not
though?
crazy.
You know what you're doing though? And I don't blame you for thinking this way if this is where your mind's at right now on it. But you're comparing Watson from the past to Josh Allen from the now. And you can't do that. I mean, you can do it, but it doesn't. That's where your argument is. Anybody voting these 8 yeses right here are based on the past. And I'm not saying it can't be recaptured, but the odds don't look great now. And everyone arguing for Deshaun Watson, all you hear is the past, the Texans. You take Josh Allen and put him on the Texans. This is not Watson of old. You are left with the Watson you have now, and you're comparing the old Watson. You can't do that. Like, it's crazy that this even has one vote to me. But, this is why we do this. This is why we play the game. This is why I have a show. This is why it's so fun to talk about controversial topics. And I love it when my own crowd doesn't even necessarily, 90 or 80% believe in what I'm talking about at this moment, and they kind of love the other side. Like, this is perfect. This is great TV here because this is a topic that clearly is an enjoyable topic for people, and we're having a respectful discussion about it. But when we have this sort of pushback and I'm head-scratchingly like, this is crazy to me, that's good content. And we know that there's a reason to have this discussion. But everybody that's arguing this yes side, that he can... Now, I think some of you are putting yes because you're laughing at my wording here. Can Watson sniff Allen? And I did that on purpose, but you know what? Maybe I should have worded it right so we're not getting any people that are just clicking yes to be funny, because now we might not know. But
I said Watson couldn't hold his jockstrap, so
yeah, he couldn't hold. Yeah,
he couldn't hold Josh Allen. No, Allen's that much better.
Hey Smith, I appreciate you guys letting me call in and stuff. It was nice talking to you, man. I love the show and keep watching.
Yeah,
I didn't mean or nothing like that.
Bro, disagreements are what makes some of these topics go round. Travis, try calling again. I missed it, so don't think for a second. I'm sorry, 850 caller. What was your name again, bro? I got to put you in the system here.
Kenny? Yes, sir.
Kenny. Kenny from where? Because I don't want to mix you up with the other Kenny. Kenny?
Tallahassee, Florida.
Florida. Okay, Kenny from Florida. All right, bro, appreciate you. Don't ever apologize for disagreeing. Don't ever apologize for bringing a great topic to the table.
All right.
But,
man, you keep holding down. Best show out there.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Later. Travis, you're calling in. Travis says he needs more context on this question because of the sniffing comment. But go ahead, Travis.
No, when you're saying that, are you saying, like, is he going to be a top 5 or 6 guy, or are you saying he can't be top 10
okay,
or 12 guy?
let's redo the poll. Somebody give me the correct way that you want this written? That would.
I'd say like top 8 would be sniffing Josh Allen.
Okay.
I know Allen's higher than that, but that seems reasonable to me.
I think top 8 is not really the shocking side of this, though, because I think what people are saying is that he could be a top 5 quarterback because Allen's like cemented into the top 5. So I think we need to use something that's a little bit more.
Okay.
So like can Watson be better than Josh Allen? Is that what we're talking about? I mean, that's really what we're arguing here. Can Watson be better than Josh Allen? All right, here we go. Let's try this one. The answer is no. But that's me. Let me get the poll here. Copy this.
Yeah, because like for me, that's an easy no. Like the way I look at it is
vote in the poll. Yeah, maybe I worded it wrong. Sniffing. You're right. I mean, sniffing Josh Allen's territory is a bad play on words anyway. But sniffing could mean like he's in the top 10. Like, so you're right. So let's just see if anybody, like, we got 1 vote. That's shocking to me. It's even shocking to me that we got 2 votes. 4-2. Can Watson be better? Whoa. Wow, bro, I don't understand. What show are you guys watching when I'm not live? What show are you watching when I'm not? This is crazy. That's fire. Call back in.
Yeah, that surprises me.
All right, that's fire. Go ahead.
Yeah, first of all, you're welcome for this content because the fact that there are so many of us in this chat makes me happy. It also proves my point that Watson is in a situation where he didn't get to play much. So we don't really know.
Bro, just because there are a couple people that agree with you doesn't mean that you're proving your point.
Oh, I 100% agree, but there is a Watson train out there.
There is, and it's misguided. It is, and I'm here to say with some certainty it's misguided. We'll be back here a year from now laughing at this poll. Now it is 12-6. It's not like it's as close as the other one, but let's just let it resonate a little bit. You know why that this poll looks close is because there are about 5 to 8 people in here that have consistently said, hey, I like Watson a lot. And there are always going to be people that own him in Dynasty. There are always going to be people that are going to be rooting for this to be true for a lot of biased reasons. But as this poll lingers out there, and I'll even put a link on my Instagram, I guarantee you the separation starts to happen in a very embarrassing way. This is like a group of people in here that, in no offense, like you guys, you got investment in Deshaun Watson. You're rooting for it. And you might hate the Buffalo Bills, like who knows? But this will start to separate, and if it doesn't, it's crazier things have happened. But it doesn't mean I agree with it whatsoever. It doesn't. This doesn't convince me even a little. Like we haven't seen. You're comparing the past. You're comparing the past.
Can we start a petition? Can we start a petition to at least take him off the Uranus list?
No, absolutely not.
Hey, Smitty.
Yeah.
I think.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Hold on. I got to go back to the.
Off he goes to the planet known as Uranus.
Just for that request, bro, we're making him the king of planet Uranus. Now he's wearing the crown. Good job. Good job, bro.
So it's going to be even worse for you next year.
The worst is going to be all on that side of the table, not on this side of the table. There's no way Watson's proving this poll correct. Can Watson be better than Josh Allen? Are we even having this conversation? How are there 9 of my followers that actually believe this poll unless people are just trying to? It's 18-9. We take this poll outside of this. You know what? Let's put it on Instagram right now. Let's put it on Instagram right now and get some actual massive amount of votes on it, and let's see what people. We'll put it on Twitter as well. So let's go ahead and let's do it. Let's do it live. Watson.
I almost.
Hey, stay right.
Go ahead. You
I
almost what?
I almost think within our chat, there's definitely some people too who are a little bit down on Josh Allen too, because of his,
Yeah.
I still think he had a pretty good season, but he threw some picks, had some tough games, and it seems like that kind of skews it a little bit too. Where like I don't think it's unreasonable that he could be a top 12.
Right. That's why I redid
10,
the poll.
10 guys.
That's why I redid the poll of sniffing, the territory, because it was a funny play on words that people can't let go. But Watson, okay, so I'm going to put a poll up right now. Can Watson, yes, no, can Watson be better than Josh Allen?
Hey, Smitty.
Hold on 1 second. A debate on the live show. Okay, I'm gonna set this poll up right now. It's up there, and we'll go check it out. We'll go check it out in a minute, and we'll just keep refreshing it and looking at it. 19-10. And we got a certain amount of people that just want to mess with the poll, but we'll go ahead and look at it. Go ahead. Sorry, Bruce. Go ahead.
What I was saying is, and I hope these people truly do believe it. I really do.
Me too.
Because Lamar Burrow is going to go down even further for us.
Can you imagine if Deshaun Watson pushed Joe Burrow down? That would be unbelievable.
That's my whole thing right here. Is he's gonna push Joe Burrow down.
In the underdog drafts, you see Watson creeping up.
Steven from
Massachusetts.
Hey, Steven from Massachusetts, go.
Hey man, this is crazy, man.
I know.
I mean, don't get me wrong, man. I was always a Deshaun Watson guy, but I mean, like watching Josh Allen, I can't believe that this is like a conversation.
I'm shocked.
And then you think about it right now. What's going to happen if like Buffalo adds like another receiver? Then to me, even then I still don't think it's going to be that close. I mean, I know the guy like threw like interceptions, but I mean like everybody does that. I mean, Patrick Mahomes. I think. What was it this year or like last year? He had like a down year too. Like it does happen. Like some of these guys, like, they have like down seasons.
This feels like one of those like funny dreams. You wake up and you're like, bro, I had the weirdest dream. I had a show going last night, and I had my audience actually a handful of them loved Deshaun Watson over Josh Allen, and it's what a ridiculous dream, because I should have known I was dreaming because it was so ridiculous.
I think it's only these 9 people.
I know. I really do. That's why I did the Instagram poll, because I want to show that, it can be. Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
maybe these 9 guys drafted them, and that's why they're reacting to that. They're like, damn, he did pretty bad for me.
Yeah. By the way, we only have like about 10 votes so far on Instagram, but it's 83%. It's 83% in favor of Josh Allen. So it's definitely about 9 to 10, owners in here that make this poll look a little different than it is. All right, let's while we wait for those results to come in, let's head over to and we're gonna start slowly wrapping it up. Let's head over to Travis. Travis, Tyler. Tyler, you got 10, 20 seconds. Ask a final question, my guy.
Okay. The final question regards.
Can't hear you, pal.
Sorry. The final question regards what to offer him for his first.
What to offer him for his first?
Yeah. Because you said instead of grab the 103, try to go for the 101.
Yeah, I mean, I would give up a 2025 or 2020, the furthest draft selection you can give up to move that. Would anybody move the 1.3 to the 1.1 and give up a 2025 or 2026 first rounder? Am I crazy for wanting Bijan that much more than any other player? Especially if you've got.
I think it depends on your roster. If you think that you can run, especially if like how deep it is. If you really want to solidify it with Bijan, I'd do it, because you don't even know where you're gonna be within like the next like 2 or 3 years, and you You know what I mean?
Yeah, and Jeremy W., I'm not sure what reference this was. It's our job to help Smitty when his takes are terrible. Was that in regards to the Watson conversation? You have to refresh my memory because I would love to know what that's about. How will this affect Madison if Cook is traded? Big time, bro. Big time. We don't know what's going to happen with that running back room, though. If they could draft a RB, they could draft, what if they draft Bijan Robinson? There's a lot of things that could happen, though. So it's really landing spot dependent for those rookies. But Madison, if they traded Dalvin Cook away and they did sign Madison to a pretty decent deal, I could see him becoming the starter. And then real quickly, dude's got 4 pocket passers. Appreciate that, Isaac. Thank you for dropping that super chat. Isaac's the man. Isaac to the moon.
To the moon.
I'm sorry. Repeat your question real quickly, Steven, as fast as you can. Or Tyler. Wait, who was just talking? Who was just talking?
Yeah, it was. What would you suggest I get trade for the 101 when I have the 103 and he has roughly rookies on his team?
Yeah, I mean, I would certainly try and keep my 1.3. But how are you going to do that to get the 1.1? Probably not. Most people are not going to just give up and surrender a pick without getting one. So the 1.3 and a 2020, can you give a 2026 first rounder? Or can you only trade 2025s?
See.
Well, look at it. But I personally would give up if my team.
I give up the 2024 first, 2023 second, 2024, 2025 first.
I would give up a 2025 first rounder to move my 1.3 to the 1.1 and get Bijan. But that's me. It's a little aggressive, but I would do it. I like Gibbs a lot. I love JSN a lot. If you need a wide receiver, then you probably wouldn't want to make that move because you could get JSN most likely. But I love Bijan that much. And if you gave me Bijan with, I believe, the team you read back, I think you're in a good spot. And you build around that.
Okay. In my opinion, with the Watson versus Allen, Watson couldn't hold Allen's gym bag.
Right.
And it all depends on what you do for me lately. And even when Brett Favre came back and played for the Vikings, he stunk.
Yeah, Tyler, I agree with you. I think that, people are just a little bit excited about what Watson can do. And I think that they're in defense mode. And I don't blame anybody for liking Watson or expecting him to bounce back or rooting for him, especially if you're a Cleveland fan or you're a Deshaun Watson owner. Or if you want to have the argument about I'd rather take Watson around 8 than have to take Josh Allen in the bottom of 2, that's a whole different debate. And so, you can't bring that into this conversation because this conversation is, can Watson actually be better than Josh Allen? And we have 12 votes out of the 33, so 21 to 12. Instagram is not the same, though, just so you know. This is probably about 12 individuals that love him in here, and we don't have everybody voting. We have 125 people in here, and they're not voting. So, guys, if you want to vote on this, the link is pinned. Vote and make this number climb in either direction. And we're not trying to sway it. I want to know what you guys really think. On Instagram, I have 74% to 26%. So it's a very different number. But it's going to continue to separate, I'm sure, because a lot of those individuals are voting there too real quick. But keep coming in. Bring the votes in. I just love that everybody's... why isn't Herbert a moon man? He needs to have his situation improve a little bit, and then he can be, Brian. I mean, we love Herbert, but I don't trust Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. He needs to get a Quentin Johnston, a Zay Flowers. Dalton Kincaid would be pretty good too, bro. That would be an impressive pick by the Chargers. Don't you guys agree? Dalton Kincaid would be awesome. Can Lamar be a moon man? Lamar, I don't know. Depends on where he goes. All right, Tyler, or send me an email through the contact form at thefantasyfootballshow.com. Okay, appreciate you, Tyler. Steven, you got 10 seconds.
Hey, Smitty, I was going to ask you if Kansas City decides to address the wide receiver room with one of these like wide receiver or one of these like rookies, where would you draft them heading in there? Because where it is right now, I don't really like their receiver room at all. I mean, it seems like they definitely want to do something, and they want to like do something for Mahomes. So if they get like a rookie, I guess like where would you want to, like pick them up?
I don't want Tennessee to get any of the top 4 rookies, and any wide receiver that goes there, I'm probably going to be a lot less excited about than I was prior to the landing spot. So like, let's say Zay Flowers goes there. I don't know, man. I don't think I'm excited unless.
Oh, I said the wrong team. I think you heard me for the wrong team. I meant to say the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, the Chiefs? I'm sorry.
Yeah, the Chiefs. Yeah.
Maybe I misheard you.
Their receiving room stink. Yeah, their receiving room after they lost Juju Smith-Schuster. I think they got like somebody from the Giants, but it looks like I still think there's like a hole to grab like a wide receiver.
Kilpatrick, I'm sorry, bro. Hold on one second. Let me just. Why are you all judging Allen off of Gabe Davis when his wide receiver 1 is Diggs? That's like judging Rodgers off Lazard's numbers when Adams was his wide receiver 1. Thank you for your super chat, by the way. And then Kilpatrick says Watson top 7 if he doesn't make the top 7 fire. Doesn't make the top 7 fire. Owes 10 gifted subs. If he is, I'll pay 10 gifted subs. Okay, thank you, Kilpatrick. I didn't try to ignore your comment. I didn't see it. I'm sorry, bro. Okay. So let me read it back. Kilpatrick says Watson top 7. If he doesn't make top 7, Fire owes 10 gifted subs. That's Fire. And if he is not top 10, then yeah, okay. Or if he is, then Patrick will do the top to the 10 gifted subs. Awesome. I'll put that in the corner here. You guys are gonna have to keep track of that one. I can't keep track of all those little ones, but please keep track of it for me. And Golf, appreciate you dropping the $4.99 holler. Golf to the moon. Golf's the man. Kilpatrick's the man. Isaac's the man. Isaac's been dropping super chats all day. Appreciate this super chat, Isaac. Appreciate this super chat, Isaac. I think I got to them all. Isaac dropped another one. If Lamar, did I read this one? If you subtract Lamar from the Ravens, what do they have? Yeah, I've read that one. That one was a good one. Josh Jacobs was such a steal in my leagues. I got him in the 6th and 7th. What running back this season with the ADP has running back 1 upside like that this year? I would say the most 6 and 7. So let me go to that territory. We already talked about this briefly, but let me go straight from that territory, the 6 and 7 round territory. So we're probably talking about Charbonnet. We're probably talking about Kamara. We're talking about Isaiah Pacheco. We're talking about Dameon Pierce, or maybe talking about Swift. Those are all players that have the potential to vault up from like outside the top 18 running backs, top 20 running backs. Those are all about 20 and below. Stevenson's like outside the top 10, and he's got that potential if we go up a little higher. But Zach Charbonnet, these rookies feel like they could be the best shot at being those rags to riches players. So thank you very much. And to answer your question, Steven, I would say that if, let's say, Zay Flowers went to KC, I'd be pretty excited for him, but we've also seen KC not really utilize the talent that they have when you think, oh, this is a great spot. Let's get Clyde Edwards-Helaire in a Kansas City Chief uniform. Oh, Sky Moore is going to be to the moon right away, and he wasn't. I still like Sky Moore a lot, but there's a chance they spread it around, they bring a guy in, and they don't fully use him. You know, Sky Moore and CEH were both kind of misused. So I don't know that we have a proven track record that KC's as good a spot as we all think it's going to be every time we're mentioning KC as a landing spot. So we'll have to see, bro. If they take Quentin Johnston, guess what? They're using him. They take Zay Flowers, maybe he wastes away on the bench. You know, I don't know. If they take Addison, I can't imagine they don't use Addison. And they're not getting JSN or Addison anyway because they draft very late in the first round. But I'm just saying, like, if they traded up for him or something, then that is an indication they want to use the player because they used high draft capital. The only wide receiver that could potentially fall would be maybe Zay Flowers because of his size. The other three big wide receivers aren't falling. They aren't falling. So KC's tough. It's tough to predict KC, honestly. Steven, call back later. What?
I will. No,
Yeah.
I was just saying I agree with you that I think for the most part I think why it was tough was because like some of those guys they weren't really like guys that are like number one wide receivers like Juju Smith-Schuster. I mean, like everybody considered him like a one like when he had Antonio Brown, but after Antonio Brown left and he was like the main guy, he wasn't really anything. And like Mecole Hardman, we kept waiting for him to break out. He wasn't anything special. So maybe one of these guys. Maybe it is like one of these guys that they feed him the ball and they feel like he can do something. Because I mean, they tried to do that with Kadarius Toney too when he was injury prone.
Yeah.
But I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
I'll we call in during 12.
We got a vote. We got some results so far. So we got 74% to 26%. You know, and we're over like 50 votes so far in that short period of time. So we're looking at about a 25%. I would say a more realistic of 20 to 25% of people that doubt Josh Allen that much. You know, and I think whoever brought this point up, it might be more about Josh Allen than it is anything. Like I wonder if we used a quarterback that was even ranked consensus-wise below Josh Allen, if we'd see a 10% vote. It's just Josh Allen. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like I'm shocked.
This vote is it on your story or is it just like is it just on like Instagram?
Yeah, it's on my story. On my stories on Instagram. It's also right here. The link is pinned. If anybody wants to vote in the separate poll, the Instagram poll is different than this poll. But the poll the poll right here, you can vote. We got 24 to 14. It's a 36% amount of people that think that Watson can be better than Josh Allen. But I don't know.
Man.
Let's let the Instagram poll get hundreds and hundreds of votes, and then we're going to have a better sense. Appreciate you calling anytime. We'll be live tonight. See you, pal. That's fire. Final thoughts.
Yeah, just want to say the reason I drop off usually after the debates is to let other callers have a chance. I don't really feel like jump in like constantly.
No problem.
But Smitty, get your popcorn ready, bud, because you're going to watch this man explode this season. And Josh Allen can cry me a river. People are doubting Josh Allen. Boo-hoo. Yeah, I don't care. Let's see the results.
I'm petrified, bro. I'm petrified. I'm shaking.
And take him off of King of Uranus. He needs to get off that list. Jesus.
Off he goes.
He's the king of planet Uranus, bro. For many reasons that I've even partly not to do with anything on the field. He's gonna always be on the Uranus list, bro. But I'm shaking. I'm shaking in my boots, bro. I'm so shaking in my boots that Deshaun Watson is gonna be a top 5 quarterback. I'm just shaking in my boots, man. Josh Allen, he couldn't hold Josh Allen's small hand towel.
I guess we'll see.
I'm really shocked that there are 15 brave souls in here that are voting yes anyway. But the Instagram poll is really telling the story, bro. This is a case of you've got a mix of people that own them in this chat, and that's understandable. And I don't blame anybody for.
No, you just got a bunch of normies on Instagram who don't know, who don't know what's up. You got the dedicated.
So you think the people that believe Josh Allen is better than or Watson's better than Allen know what's up, and the people that don't know what's up. Okay.
No, I still think, to be fair, that it could go either way. But I do think the Watson disrespect is a bit severe.
Is it though? Is it though, or are you living in the past and you're demanding respect for the past? What has Watson done, bro? Nothing. The team was not better with him. Nick Chubb didn't do even remotely the same. It's called one of the worst trades in NFL history. And Watson has not even
one year in. 1 year in.
Yeah, and you weren't. Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, but you have nothing to defend. No defense yet until watch. It will eventually happen. You have no evidence whatsoever that it was a great trade. That's right, bro. It's why we play. It's why we play the game, pal. It's why we play the game.
That's fair. And thanks for letting me call in. I'll definitely be calling in, obviously, in the future.
Yeah,
but I really do just drop after debates just to let the other.
You drop whatever you want. But keep an eye on that Instagram poll because it's going to start separating. It's going to be at 80. It's going to be at least 75 plus. I would guess, but it might creep into the 80 percentile. And you could say that's random Instagram people, but my follower base is all avid football fans, bro. So you're gonna get not only are you gonna get fantasy votes, but you're gonna get a lot of other just NFL votes, people that try and not look at it from a fantasy perspective. But crazy people.
Yeah, thanks for letting me call in.
All right, later, pal. The Bruce. Oh, Bruce, call back. I accidentally hit the button twice. Travis, final 10 seconds. Go.
Yeah. First, here, that's fire. He's wavering a little. He said it could go either way.
I know.
He's kind of slipping.
Yeah, people normally do. It's fine.
Just to clarify that, like Planet Uranus, like that's not you saying like they can't succeed. It's you saying that they're like some of the most likely guys to just fall off production wise, and for where they're getting drafted
and personality wise, like for example, looking at it,
and off he goes to the planet known as Uranus.
This guy right here, Mr. Joe Mixon, is in the news all the time, right? And some of it, he wasn't at his house during that situation, so I get all that. But he's got this charges refiled. He leveled somebody in college, a woman in college. There's a reason that he's, we consider him a POS in some ways. And Dalvin Cook, Dalvin Cook's on here for a number of reasons. But look at Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara was the king of Planet Uranus, and I draft him probably more than anybody in fantasy football. So yeah, you can beat.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean that they can't be productive this year.
Correct.
And there's kind of caveats to it.
Correct.
Because I feel like a lot of people just assume they're on that list, and so they're untouchable and don't even go near them, and they just completely suck. That's not necessarily the case. I just wanted to kind of clarify that, because it seems like in the chat people sometimes kind of take it that way.
Jeremy W says, if you scroll up, Smitty, you see I already took my lap. My penance is paid. I didn't expect you to pay a penance, Jeremy. I didn't even know what was going on, so appreciate you. There's no ill will here from anybody. The only person here that's getting any sort of negative vibes from my side to you would be when Steven comes in and interrupts everything I'm saying, and I've got to disconnect the call, or when Denny won't let me speak. Those are the things that are everyone else can come in and call in, disagree, argue. And I'm kidding with Denny and Steven. I'm just joking, but I don't care about disagreeing. Look, I'm not always right, but do I feel passionately about this situation? Yes, regardless of the fact that, and again, thank you, Kilpatrick. Sorry I didn't see your super chat. If I missed anybody's super chat during this whole thing, my bad. I think I got to them all. Please let me know right now if I missed anybody's. And Rock Out, please call in again. I accidentally hung up on you. Do I think this is one of the more ridiculous debates we've had? Yes, I do. But doesn't mean I'm going to be right. You asked me last year if Jacobs would have been the number one running back, I would have laughed in your face. I would have laughed in your face. I would have said that was the most ridiculous thing I've heard in a long time. So, crazy things happen, and players come out of nowhere. But I just feel like there's no evidence whatsoever to support what people are saying right here. There's no evidence. Every piece of evidence people are giving for Deshaun Watson being better than Josh Allen, which I think is asinine. But every single piece of evidence has to do with, he was good in Houston. He was good in the past. He's been, the fact that he's been out of the game for so long, that alone puts him in such a disadvantage that is even out of his control in some ways. But to recapture his old form after being out of football for so long, that all by itself is his potential crutch. And I think for anybody to suggest he's going to be better than Josh Allen, they're just biasly saying it. I respect the bias. I respect the commitment to it. But 0% of me feels worried about this. Could anybody get hurt? Josh Allen runs a lot. He could get hurt. Watson runs a lot. Injuries can happen. And I'm not going to sit here and feel like I was even wrong if Josh Allen has eight amazing games, gets hurt, and Watson plays 17. and outscores them or something. It doesn't, like, a lot of this is the eye test as well. Like, we don't have a specific number on screen in this vote. We have a, can Watson be better than Josh Allen? My eye test will 100% confirm that I feel that strongly about this take. 100% confirm that I feel my stance is correct here, and this is a ridiculous poll. Not even a poll that's like, I proved it right, yeah. This is a ridiculous question. But it's a great question because clearly a handful of people believe it to be something that needs to be debated, I suppose. But I believe it's going to separate. It's going to separate. We'll even keep this poll going. On Instagram, it's 80% to 20. It's not even close on Instagram. So, I mean, and it fluctuates. Like, you could refresh it and it jumps back and forth. But on Instagram, let me put the exact poll up that we have, the numbers we have right now. We don't have a ton of numbers yet. There's a decent amount in a very short period of time. But here is the current Instagram, the Instagram numbers. As the numbers get greater, the less movement you're going to have, because small amounts of data, small amounts of yes votes aren't going to move the needle at all as the data increases. So right now on Instagram, 32 no's, 8 yes votes, probably the same of these 15 population that are racing over to vote. So it's very skewed, but you have majority of people saying this is a ridiculous question. And maybe I should have put levels in here of how ridiculous it was or how close it was. I mean, maybe I'm making an assumption that it's ridiculous, but to me, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. All right. Appreciate you, Travis. I'll see you tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. See you later.
Rockout, I'm sorry I hung up on you. Rockout, if you want to call back in and say bye, or I'm sorry, Bruce. Bruce, if you want to call back in and say bye, Bruce, I can definitely answer your call and have you say your proper goodbye. Brucey, you're the man. Watson's show is coming, says that's fire. We're just waiting on pins and needles. You can probably go buy a Deshaun Watson jersey in Walmart in the sales section, bro. While the Josh Allen jerseys are they're sold out. They're sold out. I'm definitely intrigued with Elijah Moore and Watson connection, says Hod. Of course you are. Watson Peep Show. Kilpatrick. Yeah, what's going to happen with Watson? Oh, my God. This is crazy.
Oh, God.
Brucey, this is insane.
It is. He can't hold his jockstrap. I said it before.
It's crazy, bro. Yeah.
I got a question that's it's debatable in my mind between Cook, Eckler, Henry, and Chubb. Which one do you think is going to get you the best value if you draft them to trade away?
Bruce, I'm tired. Cook, Henry, Eckler, Chubb, right?
Right.
I want to own Henry at round 3 and trade him by double-digit weeks. I want to own Eckler at the top of round 2 and trade him by double-digit weeks. Chubb in round 3 is fantastic, but the same concept. Because he's had a lot of mileage, and I think his knees eventually worry me to the point where I don't want to be holding the bag. Those are all... Cook is a deep pick for me that, like, if it works out, he gets traded. I'm okay with that, on my team. So, ultimately, it comes down to Derrick Henry's a third rounder in some context. You can trade him away. He's got the most value. Eckler has the most potential to play well longer and has the best shot at playing well all year and proving the odds wrong, the odds that stack against him that suggest that he can't go another full season at the age of 28. Henry's 29. So I'd probably say Eckler, but I'm trading all of them by midseason.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know which one to get and then trade.
But I'd rather not put myself in that position, because what if he gets hurt early on? I'd rather just draft Bijan. I'd rather draft Walker or Bijan over even going in those directions. Because what are you going to ultimately want? Walker. You're going to end up eventually trying to trade Henry or Eckler for Walker straight up, and it's like, why not just draft him?
Okay. That's all. I'll see you at midnight, Smitty.
All right,
Have
Bruce.
a good night.
Later, pal. All right, guys, I appreciate all of you. Appreciate all the votes. Looks like we're at a 27 to 15 vote currently. Wow. On Instagram, we're looking at people are probably DMing me right now saying, why are you even making this poll, bro? But it's 80-20 still. 80-20. We've got a total of let's see. A total of about 50 votes, like I said. And we'll talk about that poll tonight. Appreciate you all. See you tonight. Get out of here. Thank you, Isaac, for all the super chats. Dude, appreciate that one. Golf. Appreciate you, Golf. Isaac, appreciate you again. Kilpatrick with the bet. Kilpatrick, appreciate you. Didn't mean to ignore your super chat. I just didn't see it. Isaac again. Isaac's dropping wads all over the screen. My boy Isaac. Rock out. Thank you for the rap and the super chat. Isaac again. Cactus Jack dropping a $5 hauler. Garrett dropping a $2 hauler. And then Macho at the beginning of the show dropping that 10 wad. Macho to the moon. Appreciate every single one of you. I'll see you tonight during the draft live stream. And don't forget to get on over to Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. Let me drop that link and pin it one more time. Promo code Smitty, Underdog Fantasy. The link will put the promo code in there for you. But you need to go over there now and get prepared. We're going to do some live best ball Superflex drafts tonight. I will see you all later.